Chapter 722, Ni Yang Takes Action. _5. Auntie, didn't you take Zijuan back home to see Ziqing? Ni Yang was a bit surprised to see Shengguan Furong return so quickly. Shengguan Furong sighed. Lin Fong didn't want to let us in. Last time she had at least seen Zhao Ziqing, but this time, Zhao Ziqing hadn't appeared at all. Lin Fong didn't want to? Ni Yang furrowed her brows slightly. Then did you see Uncle Zhao? Shengguan Furong shook her head. No. Ni Yang continued, Auntie, I think you need to have a good talk with Uncle Zhao. There seems to be something fishy about this. Although Zhao Shun was disloyal to love, his character wasn't the worst. This could be seen from the fact he gave half of his properties to Shengguan Furong. Shengguan Furong hesitated for a moment, then said, Okay, I'll go find him now. Shengguan Furong and Zhao Shun had been a couple for half a lifetime. It would be easy for her to find Zhao Shun. Zhao Shun was surprised to see Shengguan Furong actively seeking him out. He had thought that he and Shengguan Furong would never interact for the rest of their lives. Over the past couple of months, Shengguan Furong seemed to have changed a lot. And yet it seemed like nothing had changed. Shedding her intimidating demeanor, she had become a lot more gentle, and there was an added softness in her eyes. Zhao Zijuan was overjoyed to see Zhao Shun, running over excitedly, Dad. My son. Zhao Shun lifted Zhao Zijuan into his arms. Zhao Zijuan wrapped his arms around Zhao Shun's neck. Dad, this is the best. You haven't abandoned me. I thought you didn't want me anymore. Nonsense. How could Dad ever abandon you? Shengguan Furong spoke at the right moment. Zijuan and I have returned twice but were turned away both times. That's why Zijuan thought you didn't want him anymore. Returned? Zhao Shun frowned slightly. When did you return? Nobody told me. Shengguan Furong replied, On the third day after you and Lin Fong received your marriage certificate, Zijuan said he missed you guys, so I took him back once. We also returned today, but Lin Fong wouldn't let us in. She said you didn't want to see us. Zhao Shun didn't say anything. He seemed to remember, that day he asked who was at the door, but Lin Fong said it was someone asking for directions. What's going on? Lin Fong was never a petty person. Why would she hide this? Zhao Shun continued, There must have been some misunderstanding. I've just finished my work for today, so I'll take you two back. Mom will be thrilled to see Zijuan. Okay, Shengguan Furong nodded. Zhao Shun drove with the mother and son away. Zhao Zijuan sat in the passenger seat while Lin Fong sat in the rear. Zhao Zijuan hadn't seen Zhao Shun for a long time. Now, father and son had a belly full of words to share. The car was getting closer and closer to the villa. A servant rushed back into the villa. Ma'am, the master has returned. Chapter 723, Ni Yang Takes Action. _6. This place isn't his home anymore. Zhao Zijuan rushed all the way to Zhao Ziqing's bedroom. Little sister. Little sister. Was this his brother's voice? Zhao Ziqing thought she was hearing things. After all, she would often hear her mother and brother's voices in her dreams recently. Only when she opened the door did she realize she wasn't hallucinating. Zhao Ziqing embraced Zhao Zijuan tightly and began to cry, Brother. Woo. I'm sorry, brother. I missed you so much. Lin Fong stood behind, a displeased expression in her eyes. Little beast. Just wait till everyone leaves, shall see how I'll deal with her. It's okay, little sister. Confucius once said, which person without faults isn't a sage? So, brother forgives you. Thank you, brother. Zhao Ziqing wanted to hug Shengguan Furong again, but she dared not. She was afraid Lin Fong would stab her with a needle again. Zhao Zijuan then asked, Where's Grandma? Should we visit her? Zhao Shun stepped forward. Grandma is upstairs, I'll take you up. At this point, Lin Fong stepped in. Mom just went to sleep. Why don't we go downstairs for some tea first, then visit her after a while? It hasn't been long. What if things upstairs aren't cleaned up yet? Zhao Shen, being an obedient son, turned to Shengguan Furong. Should we wait a while before going to see Mom? Shengguan Furong glanced at her wristwatch. All right. They waited downstairs for over half an hour before Zhao Shen took them upstairs. Upstairs was already tidied up. Old Lady Zhao was lying in bed, tears of excitement filling her eyes when she saw Shengguan Furong and Zhao Zijuan approach. This isn't a dream, is it? Grandma. Zhao Zijuan sprinted over. Seeing Zhao Zijuan, whom she had been missing terribly, Old Lady Zhao momentarily forgot about her anger. Seeing Old Lady Zhao on the bed, Shengguan Furong asked in surprise, what happened to her? Having been mother and daughter-in-law with Old Lady Zhao for over a decade and calling Mrs. Shengguan Mom for so many years, some habits can't be changed overnight. Moreover, Old Lady Zhao had been truly kind to her in the past. She didn't realize this until now. Old Lady Zhao was fed up with her, which led to her subsequent actions, so now, Shengguan Furong didn't blame her. She didn't blame anyone. Zhao Shen sighed. A while ago, she was shocked and suffered a stroke. She's been like this ever since. Did you get a doctor to look at her? Shengguan Furong asked. Yes. Zhao Shen nodded. Shengguan Furong pressed on. What did the doctor say? Zhao Shen sighed again, remaining silent for fear that Old Lady Zhao would be heartbroken if she heard. Shengguan Furong slightly frowned, walked over to Old Lady Zhao. Mom, how are you feeling now? Old Lady Zhao could not say anything, only making whimpering noises. Mom, do you have something to tell me? As people who had spent over a decade together, Shengguan Furong immediately understood Old Lady Zhao's intentions. The whimpering got louder. Shengguan Furong continued, if you have something to say to me, please blink your eyes. Old Lady Zhao blinked. Lin Fang knew something was amiss, fearing Shengguan Furong would find out something. She immediately walked over and said, Sister Furong, Mom hasn't seen Zijuan in such a long time. She's probably thankful that you brought him over today. While saying this, she gave Old Lady Zhao a warning look. Shengguan Furong continued, Zhao Shen, I know a doctor who might be able to help Mom. Who? Zhao Shen asked eagerly. Hope appeared in Old Lady Zhao's eyes. Yang. Shengguan Furong replied. These days, she had seen what Yang could do and believed that Yang could cure Old Lady Zhao. Yang? Zhao Shen furrowed his brows, but isn't Yang only 19? Upon hearing this, Lin Fang felt relieved. 19? What could a little girl of 19 know about medicine? Shengguan Furong continued, Yang is really incredible. Do you remember that kid Guobao from the Yang family? I do. Zhao Shen nodded. Shengguan Furong said, Guobao was cured by Yang. Now everyone calls Yang the little divine doctor. Hearing this, Zhao Shen had some expectations, then let's invite Yang over now. I'll go. Shengguan Furong said, Zijuan, stay here with Dad. Luckily today was a weekend, both Yang and Cuehua were at the Shengguans. Soon, Shengguan Furong had brought Yang over. Seeing Yang, Lin Fang was astonished. Wasn't this girl the one who was with Mrs. Shengguan at the clothing store last time? She called Shengguan Furong Auntie. Could it be that her mother married Shengguan Dehui? My God! Could the incident at the clothing store have been orchestrated by Yang? A fury rose in Lin Fang's heart. Zhao Shen said, Yang, we're counting on you to help Mom. I'll do my best. After saying this, Yang went over to Old Lady Zhao's side to check her pulse. Old Lady Zhao's condition was very serious, far worse than Yang had imagined. Yang slightly furrowed her brows, the long lashes casting a faint shadow on her eyelids. Lin Fang smirked mockingly, I heard from Sister Furong that little divine doctor is very proficient. I'm sure the little divine doctor can cure Mom's illness, right? Divine doctor? She looked more like a quack to her. A youngster coming out to swindle others. Ni Yang looked back at Lin Fang with a smile, the corners of her mouth revealing a light dimple. I may not have other talents, but I do have ways to make old Lady Zhao speak. Source, web novel. Com, updated on Envgo. Co. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 724, Revealing the Truth. _1 Could Ni Yang really get Madame Zhao to speak? How could that be possible? Does she think she's an immortal fairy? Upon hearing this, Lin Fang was neither flustered nor surprised, she almost wanted to laugh. The little divine doctor must be a very competent person then. Ni Yang smiled faintly, did not respond, just pulled out a gold needle from her bag, and unblocked the acupoints of Madame Zhao. A gentle breeze lifted the curtain. Despite the winter weather, Ni Yang, dressed in a plain white cheongsam with a light purple coat over it, did not seem to feel the cold at all. Her fair fingers skillfully handled the gold needle, puncturing accurately into the acupoints. Everything looked as serene as a painting. During the acupuncture, Madame Zhao slowly closed her eyes and drifted off to sleep. Zhao Shen anxiously asked, Yang Yang, what's wrong with my mom? Lin Fang was shocked. Ah. Mom, she isn't. Is she dead? It would be great if the old lady was dead. If she was dead, Lin Fang wouldn't have any concerns. Lin Fang was exhilarated. This could give her the perfect opportunity to put Ni Yang and Shengguan Furong behind bars. For causing harm to others. This was no minor crime. If the old lady died and, incidentally, she got rid of Shengguan Furong and Ni Yang, it would be killing two birds with one stone. It's fine, said Ni Yang while maintaining her composure, she just fell asleep because I hit the Onmian acupoint. Oh. Zhao Shen nodded in relief. After hearing this, Lin Fang was utterly disappointed. Not dead? But even if she didn't die, she probably wouldn't live much longer anyway. Ni Yang could at best be said to be attractive, how could she possibly know genuine medical skills? Just then, footstep sounds could be heard from outside the door. Changyu walked in from outside. Mom, Dad, I heard a miracle doctor is treating Grandma. I came especially to take a look. Xiaoya, come over here. Let me introduce you, this is your Aunt Furong. And this miracle doctor, is your Aunt Furong's niece. Lin Fang deliberately put emphasis on the term miracle doctor, somewhat mocking. Upon seeing Ni Yang, Changyu was completely taken aback. Ni Yang? A business owner appearing at the Zhao family home? Was the Zhao family a place she could enter? What miracle doctor? Isn't she just a noodle shop owner? Changyu said dismissively. A noodle shop owner. Upon hearing this, Lin Fang's smirk became more pronounced. She laughed and said, this is the first time I've heard that a noodle seller could become a miracle doctor. Changyu continued, Dad, don't be fooled by her. This Ni Yang was my classmate, she was just a noodle seller and wouldn't know anything about medicine. What if something happens to Grandma during her treatment, who will be responsible then? Could such a small business owner be trusted? Lin Fang was displeased. Xiaoya, what are you talking about? This little miracle doctor here is your Aunt Furong's niece. After all, your Aunt Furong and your grandmother have the in-law relationship, how could she possibly harm your grandmother? Although these words seemed to be defending Shengguan Furong, on the contrary they covertly hinted that Shengguan Furong wanted to harm Madame Zhao. Only then did Changyu understand what Lin Fang meant. Ni Yang was now Shengguan Furong's niece? What happened? Could it be that Ni Yang's mother had married into the Shengguan family? If that was the case, then the incident in the clothing store the other time was definitely planned out by Ni Yang. Otherwise, how could it be such a coincidence? Almost instantaneously, Chang Yu and Lin Fang were on the same page. Ni Yang, this scumbag. She was really shameless. Chang Yu narrowed her eyes. I am not talking nonsense. Mom, you go and ask around on the streets, how many noodle vendors can practice medicine? This person was brought here by Aunt Furong, right? Aunt Furong should take full responsibility if anything happens to Grandma, right? Shangguan Furong stood up from her chair. You mother and daughter should stop your duo. If something does happen to mother today, I, Shangguan Furong, will take full responsibility. I won't let anyone else get implicated. Furong, don't get angry, I trust you, said Zhao Shen, and then turned to Lin Fang and Xiaoya. You two have no manners. Lin Fang was normally a person who was good at accommodating people's moods, but today, she didn't know what happened. She kept provoking Shangguan Furong and Ni Yang. Lin Fang played the victim. Xiaoya and I are also considering for Mom's sake. Mom is already so seriously ill. If she, towards the end, she was crying so hard she couldn't speak. If an outsider saw this, they would really think Lin Fang was a filial and good daughter-in-law. Zhao Shen sighed. All right, I got it. Source, web novel. Com, updated on Envgo. Co. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 725, Revealing the Truth. _2. While the group was arguing, Ni Yang remained calm, appearing to be indifferent to the situation. When Zhao Shen walked back to the bedside, he was astonished to find that Mrs. Zhao's facial features had returned to their original positions. She had been disfigured due to the stroke, but now, she had miraculously recovered. This was truly extraordinary. At the same time, Mrs. Zhao slowly opened her eyes, and the murkiness at the bottom of her eyes gradually cleared. Mom! Zhao Shen joyfully said, Mom, how are you feeling now? Are you feeling better? Looking at Zhao Shen, Mrs. Zhao's eyes suddenly reddened. Awake? Lin Fang gasped in surprise, rushed to the bedside, and forced out a couple of crocodile tears. Mom! You're awake. You finally woke up, you scared me to death just now. Mrs. Zhao stared at Lin Fang, making whimpering sounds from her throat, as if she was accusing Lin Fang of her wrongdoings. Seeing that Mrs. Zhao still couldn't speak, Lin Fang breathed a sigh of relief. Divine Doctor, didn't you say you could get my mother to speak? Lin Fang looked at Ni Yang. Ni Yang opened her medicine box, took out a syringe, and various Western medications. It just needs one last injection, don't rush. Although she practiced traditional Chinese medicine, she didn't belittle Western medicine. Sometimes, the combination of both can produce better therapeutic effects. Mrs. Zhao glared fiercely at Lin Fang. If stares could kill, Lin Fang would already have been dead hundreds of times over. Lin Fang asked, Mom, do you want to say something? The whimpering sound grew louder, and Mrs. Zhao's eyes got bigger and bigger. Lin Fang continued, Mom, I understand what you mean. Do you want to stop the Divine Doctor from treating you? Did she hurt you? I get it, don't worry. I am here today. I will protect you and not let anybody touch you. In reality, at this moment, Lin Fang was feeling somewhat anxious. Because Ni Yang did indeed restore Mrs. Zhao's facial features to their original position. What if she accidentally enables Mrs. Zhao to speak, then what? No way. She can't afford to take that risk. Chang Yu immediately detected Lin Fang's intentions and quickly stood beside Lin Fang. Right, Grandma. My mom and I will protect you and won't let anyone hurt you. Ni Yang just watched the mother-daughter duo, a faint smile playing at the corner of her mouth, but her eyes were icy. What are you panicking for? Are you that afraid it'll cure Mrs. Zhao? Turning to them, Ni Yang continued, or did you do something shameful and want to cover it up? Lin Fang was already feeling guilty at this moment, and these words hit a nerve. What nonsense are you spewing? What shameful thing have I done? Ni Yang maintained her composure. Are you angry out of shame? What do you mean I'm angry out of shame? I think you're just talking rubbish. Lin Fang grabbed Ni Yang's hand and started to cause trouble. Come on. You must clarify what you meant today. If not, I won't let this go. Let go. Ni Yang slightly frowned. Lin Fang continued, if you don't clarify your comments today, I won't let go. Although I, Lin Fang, am just a woman, I can't let others falsely accuse me. How could she let go at this moment? If she let go, wouldn't it mean she was admitting her wrongdoings? Lin Fang. Don't disturb Yang Yang's treatment of Mom. Zhao Shen pulled Lin Fang away. Lin Fang quickly replied, Brother Shen, this Ni Yang harbors ill intentions. She even falsely accused me of doing something shameful. She frankly has no medical skills, don't be fooled by her. And also, Mom said she's unwilling to let her treat her. Mom's right, Dad, don't be fooled by her. I was Ni Yang's classmate, no one knows her better than I do. Jianghu said. Mrs. Zhao anxiously whimpered. Lin Fang seized the opportunity and said, Brother Shen, look at Mom's current state. It's quite clear she doesn't want Ni Yang to continue treating her. The whimpering became louder, as Mrs. Zhao was afraid Zhao Shen would believe Lin Fang's lies. Lin Fang continued, Brother Shen, hurry up and ask them to leave. Zhao Shen's face darkened, and he said to Lin Fang, shut up. This was the first time Zhao Shen lost his temper since they got married. Both Lin Fang and Jianghu were scared. They'd assumed Zhao Shen was spineless after seeing how he was completely enthralled by Shengguan Furong. Who would have thought, Zhao Shen did indeed have a temper. I'm sorry, Yang Yang, that you had to witness this farce. Zhao Shen turned to look at Ni Yang. Yang Yang, please continue. Don't worry, I believe in you. Source, web novel. Com, updated on Envgo. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 726, Revealing the Truth. _3. Ni Yang nodded, squeezed out the air in the syringe, and aimed it at the vein on Granny Zhao's arm. The room fell quiet. Everyone's gaze was focused on Ni Yang and Granny Zhao. According to Ni Yang, after this injection, Granny Zhao should be able to speak. Could it be true? Especially Lin Fang and Jianghu, their hearts were beating anxiously. What if Granny Zhao really could talk? What would they do then? Would Zhao Shen kick them out of the Zhao family? Zhao Shen walked over, nervously asking, Mom, how are you feeling now? The only response to Zhao Shen was a hum. Lin Fang's tense heart finally relaxed. Good. She knew this Ni Yang was not capable. Jianghu snorted. Didn't someone just swear that my grandmother could speak after the injection? Ni Yang didn't get angry. His handsome face remained calm as he walked over to Granny Zhao and removed the golden needle from the Suliu acupoint. Granny, how do you feel now? Granny Zhao looked at Ni Yang. Her stiff throat seemed to ease up, and she tried to say something. Smoke, she could speak. She finally could speak. Yang. Mom, you can speak. Zhao Shen rushed over. Shen Bao. Granny. Zhao Zijuan and Zhao Ziqing also came over. Zijuan, Ziqing. Granny Zhao's eyes turned red. Lin Fang stared at this scene, almost dumbfounded, a chill rising from the bottom of her heart. How is this possible? What should she do? What should she do now? Jianghu was even more panic-stricken. She was not unaware of what her mother had done. This old lady would surely tattle now. Was she, a spoiled princess, about to be kicked out of her home after only a month? As expected, Granny Zhao's next words were, "Shenbao, call the police immediately and arrest these venomous mother-daughter duo." What? Zhao Shen was stunned for a moment. Granny Zhao tearfully accused Lin Fang of her crimes. Zhao Shen's face gradually turned cold. He never thought that the kind-hearted Lin Fang could be so malicious. Upon hearing that his granny had suffered so much recently, Zhao Zijuan rushed over to hit Lin Fang. "Evil woman! You evil woman! How could you bully my granny?" Lin Fang also panicked, falling to her knees with a thud, her face pale as a sheet. I really didn't, Brother Shen, Granny has falsely accused me." "If you didn't, then where did these wounds come from?" Ni Yang lifted Granny Zhao's quilt and rolled up her clothes. Granny Zhao's arms and back were covered in bruises. "I didn't do it. I didn't." Lin Fang vehemently denied. "If not you, then who?" Ni Yang's tone was mild, but it carried an intimidating force. "Speaking of these wounds," Granny Zhao burst into tears, "she hit me. Not only did she hit me, she also starved me. I, Wang Yuehua, have lived a life of wealth and worry-free. Little did I know that in my old age, I would have to endure such torment. Shenbao, you must seek justice for me." Lin Fang stared at Ni Yang, her eyes wide with disbelief. "It's you. You vile creature, trying to ruin me. You were the one who stopped me from marrying into the Shengguan family, and now you're stirring up trouble. Shut up, you wretch." Losing patience, Zhao Shen gave Lin Fang a fierce slap in the face. The slap was so hard that Lin Fang's left cheek swelled immediately. "I really didn't. Brother Shen, please believe me." Lin Fang clutched at Zhao Shen's trouser leg in a pathetic manner. Dad, believe Mom. Mom is not that kind of person." Chang Yu also knelt beside Zhao Shen. The mother and daughter pleaded with Zhao Shen. It was then that Granny Zhao seemed to remember something. "Not only did they abuse me, they also abused Ziqing. These days, I could always hear Ziqing crying from upstairs. It's my fault, I'm an incompetent grandmother and I couldn't protect my own granddaughter. Ziqing, my poor granddaughter." Upon hearing this, Zhao Shen was stunned. Lin Fang even hit children. Shengguan Furong walked over to Zhao Ziqing, squatting down to look her in the eye. "Ziqing, did she hit you?" "No. I didn't hit her." Lin Fang denied with all her might, threatening Zhao Ziqing with her eyes. Little beast, if she dared to talk nonsense today, Lin Fang would kill her. Zhao Ziqing took a step back. She wanted to nod, but she was afraid. What if everyone left and Lin Fang beat her again? Source, web novel. Com, updated on Envgo. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 727, Revealing the Truth. _4. She was terrified. Suppressing her inner rage, Shengguan Furong spoke in as gentle a voice as possible. "Ziqing, please speak up. Did she beat you? You don't have to be scared. Mom is here and I will protect you. Please be honest with me." "No, I didn't." Zhao Ziqing carefully glanced at Lin Fang with utmost fear in her eyes. Eventually, she burst into tears, clinging tightly to Shengguan Furong's neck. "I am scared." Ziqing's terrified confession broke Shengguan Furong's heart. It was her fault. She was the one who allowed her two children to suffer. "I want to stay with Mom. I don't want to be with Dad anymore. Auntie Lin Fang is a bad lady. She pinched me and pricked me with this injection. My elder sister is also bad. She snatches my things and calls me a beast." As Zhao Ziqing spoke, she loosened her clothes to reveal the bruising on her body and countless needle holes on her arms and back. The sight was horrifying. "Zicheng, my poor child. It's all my fault, I let you suffer." Shengguan Furong held Zhao Zicheng in a tight embrace. No wonder Lin Fang prevented her from seeing the kids before. If only she had located Zhao Shen sooner, things wouldn't have turned out this way. Shengguan Furong was consumed by regret and heartache. From the day her daughter was born, she never even had the heart to smack her once, let alone allowed her to be beaten to a pulp by Lin Fang. "Mum," cried Zhao Zicheng. As a father, Zhao Shen could no longer bear it and he grabbed Lin Fang's hair in anger. "Lin Fang, what have you done? Zicheng is only 8 years old. She's still a child. How could you do this to her?" "No. She's lying about me. They're framing me together. They want to kick me out. Brother Shen, don't be fooled, don't." Lin Fang implored painfully as she clung onto Zhao Shen's trousers despite the pain in her scalp. Shengguan Furong charged forward to grab Lin Fang's sleeve, pushed her to the ground, and then grabbed her by the throat. "Lin Fang, you inhuman beast. I will kill you. One life for another." "Miss, please calm down." Ni Yang came over and held Shengguan Furong's hand. "It's not worth risking your freedom for her. You still have Zijuan and Zicheng to take care of." His words immediately sobered her up and she released Lin Fang. Ni Yang was right. She was not worth it. Once Lin Fang was released, she began coughing violently. Shengguan Furong had certainly shown no mercy. Zhao Shen asked the servants to call the police. "Brother Shen, forgive me this time. I won't dare to do it again. I'll take good care of our mother, please, pardon me." Lin Fang kneeled on the ground and bowed down in remorse. If she had known this day would come, she wouldn't have treated old Madame Zhao and Zhao Zicheng the way she did. Lin Fang felt regret. She was genuinely regretful. It took her a great struggle to marry into a wealthy family. She didn't want to go to jail or lose everything. "Get out!" Zhao Shen kicked Lin Fang away angrily. Lin Fang crawled over once again. Brother Shen, give me one more chance. I know I was wrong, I really recognize my mistake. Dad, please forgive Mum this time." Chang Yu also kneeled beside Lin Fang. "I'm not your father." The police arrived shortly. Lin Fang and Chang Yu were arrested for abusing the elderly and a child. With guilt written all over his face, Zhao Shen looked at old Madame Zhao. "Mom, I'm sorry, I let you and Zicheng suffer. I'm the one to blame, I brought the wolf into our house. It's my fault." Zhao Shen started slapping himself as he confessed his guilt. He felt regretful. He should not have betrayed Shengguan Furong in the first place. Although Shengguan Furong was a bit domineering, she was never oppressive towards the elderly or children. She had taken very good care of old Madame Zhao when she was bedridden. Who would have thought that Lin Fang would treat the elderly this way when she took over? Every time he thought of the torment that old Madame Zhao and Zhao Zicheng went through, Zhao Shen could not forgive himself. Old Madame Zhao tearfully looked at Zhao Shen. "Shenbao, it's not entirely your fault. I am also to blame. I am suffering the consequences of my own actions. But I'm sorry for what has happened to Zicheng. The fact that Lin Fang was able to marry into the Zhao family so smoothly was also because of her." She was full of regret. During the period of being abused by Lin Fang, her thoughts often returned to Shengguan Furong. Shengguan Furong had been married into the Zhao family for 19 years. Although she was somewhat dominant, she never mistreated her. She even took care of her day and night whenever she fell ill. Source: Web Novel. Com, updated on Envgo. Co. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 728, Revealing the Truth. _5. People only learn to cherish what they have once they lose it. Old Mrs. Zhao shed tears of regret. Furong, can you forgive your mother? Mrs. Zhao looked at Shengguan Furong. Shengguan Furong replied, Mom, what's done is done. There's no point dwelling on it. But I can't let Zhao Shen take care of Ziqing anymore. If there was one Lin Fang, there could be a second Lin Fang. It's safer to raise her child herself. I want to go with Mom. Zhao Ziqing tightly held Shengguan Furong's hand. Old Mrs. Zhao sighed. At this point, she had no reason to try to keep Ziqing. She had brought this upon herself. Zhao Shen then said, I admit that I was wrong. Since Ziqing wants to go with you, just take her. He could understand Shengguan Furong's feelings. Zhao Shen then added, can you bring the children back to visit their grandmother from time to time? Of course. Shengguan Furong nodded. When leaving, Ni Yang gave Zhao Shen a prescription. Take this for a month, and old Mrs. Zhao will recover. Really? Zhao Shen asked in surprise. Yes. Ni Yang nodded. Yang, I can't thank you enough. Zhao Shen bowed deeply to Ni Yang. When Shengguan Furong and the children returned to the Shengguan residence, Zhao Zijuan and Zhao Ziqing had already fallen asleep after crying their hearts out. Even in sleep, Zhao Ziqing's brows were still tightly knitted. Downstairs. After hearing what had happened, old Mrs. Shengguan couldn't help but shed tears of sympathy. Poor children, poor children. I knew long ago that Lin Fang was no good. But Mrs. Shengguan never imagined that Lin Fang could hurt a child. Where is Lin Fang now? What is your uncle's stance? Shengguan, she asked. Shengguan Furong said, your uncle was kept in the dark about all of this. Not only did Lin Fang abuse Ziqing, but she also mistreated Ziqing's grandmother. The police have already taken them away. People like her. I wish we could tear her limb from limb. Shengguan, she said, filled with hatred. Ni Yang handed some potion to Shengguan Furong. Auntie, this potion has the effect of promoting blood circulation, reducing swelling, and removing scars. Add it to Ziqing's bathwater at night and let her soak for 15 minutes. Do this for a week, and you'll see results. Alright. Shengguan Furong took the potion. Thank you for everything today, Yang. If it weren't for Ni Yang today, who knows how much more suffering Zhao Ziqing would have to endure. As a mother, every time she thought of this, she felt scared. We're family, no need to thank me. Ni Yang said softly. Shengguan Dehui, with a serious look on his face, stood to the side. Furong, don't take offense to what I'm about to say. This is all your own doing. If it weren't for Shengguan Furong's domineering and strong-willed nature, the children wouldn't have suffered like this. Shengguan Furong didn't respond because it was indeed her fault, so she wouldn't refute it. Shengguan Dehui continued, now that you've brought Ziqing back, what does the Zhao family say? After all, when they divorced, Zhao Ziqing went with Zhao Shen. Shengguan Furong replied, he didn't voice any objections. He just asked me to bring Ziqing and Zijuan back to visit often. Hearing this, old Mrs. Shengguan asked, Furong, do you really see no possibility of reconciliation with Zhao Shen? Shengguan Furong shook her head. Given how things have developed, how could there be any possibilities between her and Zhao Shen? What about the children? Old Mrs. Shengguan continued, with a stepmother, there's bound to be a stepfather. And with a stepfather, there's bound to be a stepmother. Can you guarantee the children will be treated kindly in your future marriage? Shengguan Furong paused momentarily, then said, Mom, I haven't given any thought to remarrying. But you will eventually have to consider it. Old Mrs. Shengguan continued, everyone makes mistakes. Furthermore, you both made mistakes here. Give Zhao Shen another chance, for the sake of Zijuan and Ziqing. The old lady couldn't bear to see the children suffer again. It's really hard for divorced women to find a good man. If Shangguan Furong were to meet someone unworthy, wouldn't the children have to suffer again? While Zhao Shen made mistakes, he had been good to Shangguan Furong. It was Shangguan Furong who didn't appreciate him. And, after all, Zhao Shen was their children's biological father. But I can't get over it, Shangguan Furong continued, who says a divorced woman must remarry? I can take care of my 2 children by myself, and we can live a good life. Source, web novel. Com, updated on Envgo. Co. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 729, Revealing the Truth. _6. For her children, she could choose not to marry. She was ready to make that sacrifice. Lady Shangguan sighed, you can give up on having a husband, but growing children cannot lack a father. You don't consider your own needs, but you should think for the sake of your 2 children at least. Shangguan Furong fell silent. Lady Shangguan continued, Zijuan is 10 years old, and Ziqing is only 8 this year. Furong, you ought to think, can you bear it? Shangguan Furong sighed deeply, Mother, stop it. There is no chance for Zhao Shen and me anymore. She could forgive every mistake. Except for infidelity. She knew she had been quite excessive in the past, but, no matter how bad she had been, she never cheated on Zhao Shen. She has met men better Zhao Shen before. Moreover, because of Zhao Shen's affair, Ziqing suffers so much. Noticing the increasingly tense atmosphere, Ni Tsuhua tactfully intervened, I washed some grapes and strawberries, Mom, Furong, you both should eat more. The grave conversation was skillfully switched. 3 days later, the police reported that Lin Fong was sentenced to 3 years for abusing the elderly and a child. Chang Yu, as an accomplice, received a 1-year sentence. Upon hearing this news, Shangguan Furong sighed in relief. After a 3-year jail sentence and having a criminal record, Lin Fong would be less trouble when she gets out. The potion that Ni Yen gave worked wonders. Within 3 days, Zhao Ziqing had recovered a lot, her complexion improved, but she occasionally cried in her sleep, begging Lin Fong not to hit her. The weather was good today, as the snow under the sunshine started to slowly melt. In the air, one could smell the crisp scent of melting snow. Ni Yen went to the Zhao family to give Mrs. Zhao a checkup. Mrs. Zhao, with her upper body now capable of moving, was effusively thankful to Ni Yen. Ni Yen gave her hope. However, the person she should be thanking even more is Shangguan Furong. Without Shangguan Furong's persuasion, Zhao Shen would have not thought to seek Ni Yan's help. Yang, could I ask you for a favor? Mrs. Zhao hesitated before asking. Speak your mind. Ni Yan's radiant face remained the same, as the sunlight shone through the window, casting a soft halo onto her. Until then, Mrs. Zhao had never seen such a beautiful young girl. Mrs. Zhao went on, I know the Zhao family did many unjust things in the past. I can apologize, and I regret, can you go back and ask Furong, if she can give Zhao Shen another chance? Ni Yen, with an apologetic expression, said, I'm sorry, Mrs. Zhao, it may be inappropriate for me, as the younger generation, to intervene in elders' affairs. The right and wrong of the situation were clear, Shangguan Furong and Zhao Shen each responsible for half. But in Ni Yan's eyes, infidelity is something unforgivable. No reason could justify adultery. So she will not intervene in this matter, the decision would be up to Shangguan Furong. Hearing this, Mrs. Zhao sighed, I considered inadequately. Since Ni Yen refused to get involved, she could not force her. As Ni Yen was walking out of the Zhao family gate with her medical kit, she bumped into Shangguan Furong and the 2 children returning. Sister Ni Yen, is my grandmother getting better? Zhao Zijuan and Zhao Ziqing walked up to ask. Ni Yen smiled and replied, you too, rest assured, Mrs. Zhao's recovery is going very well. Thank you, Sister Yen. Yen bid farewell to Shengguan Furong, before leaving the Zhao family. Zhao Shen, by whatever means, managed to hire back those workers who were previously dismissed by Lin Fang, including the old butler. Upon seeing Shengguan Furong, everyone was quite excited. "Ma'am, you're back." Shengguan Furong smiled and said, "You all are back as well, but from now on, I will not be your mistress anymore." Upon hearing this, everyone felt somewhat sentimental. How did everything change so suddenly? In the eyes of the servants, Shengguan Furong was a very good mistress. She was generous and never intentionally made things difficult for them. Shengguan Furong didn't say much to everyone, instead she went upstairs with the two children. Seeing Shengguan Furong and the two children made Mrs. Zhao very happy. "Furong, thank you for bringing the children back to see me." Shengguan Furong said, "No matter what, you are Zijuan and Ziking's grandmother." This time Shengguan Furong didn't call her a mom anymore, and Mrs. Zhao felt somewhat disappointed. Is there really no chance for Shengguan Furong and Zhao Shen? Yen, with her medical kit on her back, walked down the street where the ice and snow were melting. The street was bustling and especially lively. From afar, she saw an old man with gray hair limping onto a step to sit down, seemingly injured. Yen quickly walked over. "Sir, are you okay? Do you need my help?" The old man looked up and froze. His eyes welled up with warmth. This face, it gave him an inexplicable sense of familiarity. Yen continued, "Sir, did you hurt your foot? I am a practitioner of traditional Chinese medicine, I might be able to help you." The man looked very serious, probably in his 60s or 70s. For some reason, his gaze towards her carried an unknown sentimentality. "Sir," replied Yen, as the old man remained silent after some time. The old man finally reacted, "Young lady, what's your name?" Source, web novel. Com, updated on Envgo. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 730, Go to NI family _1 like. Very much alike. Even though he can't pinpoint who exactly this child resembles, the old man immediately thought of his daughter who has been missing for many years. Indeed, this old man is Zheng Jun, the patriarch of the Zheng family. Lately, the old man has been feeling his health deteriorating by the day, hence he no longer stays in his room all day as he did before. He hoped to find his only daughter, to lay eyes on her one more time before his departure. Whether she's alive or dead, he wished to receive some news. If the unfortunate really happened, he wanted to offer incense at his daughter's grave. My name is Ni Yang. Ni as in a single person, and Yang as in producing smoke from warming jade in the sun. For reasons unknown, Ni Yang felt an inexplicable closeness upon seeing Old Master Zheng. Old Master Zheng was not a man of many words and would hardly speak a word to Zheng Xianjing in half a month. However, today, he couldn't help but introduce himself to Ni Yang. My surname is Zheng. I'm called Zheng Jun, Zheng as in, cover the ears, Jun as in, a critical moment. Grandpa Zheng, just call me Yang Yang. Ni Yang continued, by the way, did you injure your foot? Speaking of which, Old Master Zheng responded with a painful smile, I was just chasing a thief. Who knew that I wouldn't catch the thief, but instead sprain my own leg? Is it this foot? Ni Yang crouched down halfway. Old Master Zheng nodded. Let me take a look. Today, the snow had melted, leaving a lot of muddy water on Old Master Zheng's shoes, but Ni Yang didn't mind the dirt, directly taking off his shoes. It seems slightly displaced, let me reset it for you. It might hurt a little, try to bear with it. Okay, Old Master Zheng nodded, thanks, Yang Yang. While talking to Old Master Zheng, Ni Yang was also diverting his attention. Crack. The intense pain makes old Master Zheng turn pale. Ni Yang stood up from the ground. Grandpa Zheng, try standing up. Old Master Zheng got up from the steps, tried to walk a few steps, and said in surprise, "It doesn't hurt anymore." "Not at all. Yang, you are really amazing." Unconsciously, old Master Zheng didn't realize that he's been speaking more, and his typically serious face had also broken into many smiles. Ni Yang smiled, "It's just a little trick." Yang, did you inherit this traditional Chinese medicine practice from your ancestors?" Old Master Zheng asked. Ni Yang shook her head, "I have a master." Old Master Zheng said, "Then your master must be a hermit." "How old are you, Yang?" 19. She was 17 when she first came to Beijing, and time flew by so quickly that it's already been 2 years. Old Master Zheng nodded, Yang, judging from your accent, you don't seem to be from Beijing." "Yes, I'm from Haicheng. I came to Beijing 2 years ago." Ni Yang said. Haicheng. Haicheng is still over 2,000 kilometers away from the place where Zheng Tingting went missing years ago. Old Master Zheng's eyes dimmed a bit. Ni Yang continued, "Grandpa Zheng, I notice you have swollen eyes and faint dark circles. Are you having trouble sleeping recently?" "I'm old, not as good as before." Old Master Zheng sighed. Ni Yang took out a light blue sachet from her bag. "This is for you." "What is this?" Old Master Zheng was puzzled. Ni Yang continued, "This is a sachet made of medicinal herbs which can improve sleep. You can try using it." Old Master Zheng reached out and took it. There was indeed a faint medicinal smell lingering on the sachet. "How much does it cost?" Old Master Zheng continued, "And also for earlier when you helped reset my bone. Money is the best way to express gratitude in this world." And other than money, old Master Zheng couldn't find any other way. Ni Yang smiled, "Helping you with the bone reset was just a small effort, and this sachet is not worth much. You could look at as me promoting the virtues of traditional Chinese medicine. The upbringing of this child was too good. Also, the feeling she gave was not like that of a 19-year-old girl at all. There was a sense of time weathering all things about her." Old Master Zheng, who had seen numerous people in his life, this was the first time he had seen such a gifted young girl. Traditional Chinese medicine has been inherited for thousands of years. It's a pity that Western medicine has been in the limelight in the recent years and traditional Chinese medicine is gradually falling behind. Yang, you're so young yet your medical skills are so good, that's too rare." Old Master Zheng received an old-style education in his youth, so he always held traditional Chinese medicine in high regard. Unfortunately, in this rising age, people have gradually forgotten about traditional Chinese medicine. "By the way, Yang, my wife has been unwell recently, suffering from a persistent cough. Would you be willing to make a house visit if I wanted to engage your services?" Old Master Zheng asked. Source: Web novel. Com, updated on Envgo. Co. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 731, Go to NI Family _2. Ni Yang nodded, "It's my honor." Old Master Zheng's eyes lit up, "Then give me an address. When I go back and tell my wife, I'll come and visit you." Ni Yang continued, "If it's from Monday to Friday, you can find me at number 56 Jinghua Village. If it's the weekend, I'm usually at Phoenix Villa number 23. Phoenix Villa is where the Shengguan family lives, and Ni Yang stays there 2 days a week." Old Master Zheng, being a scholar, had a habit of carrying paper and pen with him. He immediately jotted down the addresses. After saying goodbye to Old Master Zheng, Ni Yang visited several noodle restaurants and milk tea shops. Now there are 12 branch stores of noodle restaurants and milk tea shops in Beijing, making a total of 22 branches. And all the properties were bought outright. Now Wang Jinfang and Zhou Qingshang are the general manager and deputy general manager of the branches respectively. Their monthly salary has increased from the initial 35 yuan to 128 yuan. Each store also has its own store manager. The store managers are villagers from Jinghua village, regular employees are recruited from outside. The store manager's salary is 98 yuan a month. The salary for regular employees has also increased to 45 yuan per month. Ni Yang trusts everyone. With high salaries, everyone is very dedicated to their work, never leaving any headache for Ni Yang. Despite the increase in employee wages, the prices of milk tea and noodles have not risen. So whether it's a workday or a holiday, the noodle restaurants and milk tea shops are always crowded. Seeing Ni Yang making money, others were very envious, and for a while, countless imitators sprang up. Some even opened shops right across from Ni Yang's. But Ni Yang has never been surpassed. Zheng family. As soon as old Master Zheng returned home, he saw that there were visitors. The visitors were none other than old Master Zheng's second and third brothers. However, old Master Zheng walked upstairs as if he hadn't seen the two. Old Mrs. Zheng was hosting the guests in the living room. Zheng Lingling served hot tea to them. Uncle 2, Uncle 3, please have some tea. Old Master Zheng's second brother is named Zheng Sheng and his third brother is named Zheng Gao. Although they all have the surname Zheng, their background is not half as good as old Master Zheng's. The Zheng family is an esteemed, wealthy family, while Zheng Sheng and Zheng Gao's families can at best be called rich. So Zheng Lingling didn't like these two old men at all. If it weren't for the sake of old Master Zheng and Mrs. Zheng, she wouldn't even care to deal with them. Second brother and third brother, is there something you came here for today? Mrs. Zheng broke the silence. Zheng Gao did not speak, he picked up the teacup, took a sip and looked towards Zheng Sheng. Zheng Sheng gave a smile. Sister-in-law, how have you and my brother been lately? We are doing fine, old Mrs. Zheng replied. How about Suyu? Zheng Sheng continued. Suyu is doing well too. Mrs. Zheng also took a sip of tea. If you really care about Suyu, why not take her home for a few days, she has been missing you. At these words, Zheng Sheng and Zheng Gao both jumped in surprise. I think Suyu is better off staying here, sister-in-law. You're so thoughtful, you will surely take good care of her. Yes, yes, yes. Zheng Gao immediately echoed. Although Suyu is their sister, she is now a complete lunatic. Not only is she useless, she is a burden. Given their modest family conditions, they dare not take on such a burden. Old Mrs. Zheng couldn't help but see through her two brothers. She continued, if you two have something to say, just say it directly. Since sister-in-law has said so, I won't beat around the bush, Zheng Sheng carried on. Sister-in-law, Minghui quit his job a few days ago and he hasn't found a suitable job till now. You see, before Zheng Sheng could finish, Zheng Gao couldn't wait to say, and our Mingming also quit his job. Sister-in-law, we are all family, you can't play favorites. Stop it. Zheng Sheng shouted unhappily, do you know there is a hierarchy among elders and youngsters? I haven't finished yet. After saying that, Zheng Sheng turned to Mrs. Zheng with a smile, sister-in-law, both of these kids are your dear nephews, you won't ignore them, right? Zheng Lingling stood on the side, almost unable to maintain the smile on her face. These two old guys are really shameless. Do they really think the Zheng family is out of members? She, the eldest daughter, is still here. They are thinking about dividing the Zheng assets. Old Mrs. Zheng maintained her smile, since they have resigned, they should be looking for new jobs. How could telling me solve their problems? Source, web novel. Com, updated on Envgo. Co. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 732, Go to NI Family _3. Solution is there. Zheng Sheng said, why can't it be solved? The Zheng Corporation is such a large group, there must be so many vacant positions. Sister-in-law, you might as well give Minghui a chance to serve as general manager. Zheng Gao said, what about our Mingming? He's a 3-time graduate. If Minghui can be made general manager, our Mingming should at least be a deputy general manager, right? Upon hearing this, Zheng Lingling's face was filled with a mocking expression. General manager? Vice general manager? These two old fools really dared to speak. Zheng Minghui and Zheng Mingming are just two idlers, even more wieldless than Mo Qishan. Elderly Mrs. Zheng looked at Zheng Gao and Zheng Sheng, twisted the Buddha beads in her hands, her voice neither loud nor soft. The positions of general manager and deputy general manager are too small. Why not let them be the chairman? Hearing this, Zheng Sheng and Zheng Gao were overwhelmed with disbelief. Could they have misheard? Zheng Sheng smiled and said, Sister-in-law, this is too embarrassing. If you intend to vacate the position of chairman, then we can't help but thank you. You can rest assured if you hand the Zheng Corporation over to our Minghui. As soon as these words were spoken, Zheng Gao immediately became displeased. Why should the position of chairman be Minghui's? What about our Mingming? The Zheng Corporation is not yours. I won't agree to let Minghui be the chairman. On what grounds are you refusing? Our Minghui is the eldest son and grandson of old Zheng's family. He should be the chairman, without a doubt. Eldest son and grandson? You must really think we're still in a feudal society? There's no such thing as a hereditary system now. I say, the position of chairman should be our Mingming's. Can your Minghui match our Mingming? The two older brothers quarreled incessantly. Enough. Madame Zheng banged the Buddha beads on the table violently. Shut up, all of you. The air turned quiet instantly. It was as if someone had pressed pause. You're all behaving atrociously. Mrs. Zheng's face was cold. Don't you weigh your own worth, and yet you fancy the position of chairman? Hearing this, Zheng Sheng and Zheng Gao's faces alternated between green and white. Zheng Sheng felt wronged and said, Sister-in-law, you're being unfair. It was you who said, you were going to vacate the position of chairman. Zheng Gao echoed on the side, exactly, as the saying goes, eldest brother is like a father, and his wife is like a mother. Zheng Sheng and Zheng Gao were somewhat wary of their elder sister-in-law. Old Madame Zheng continued, there are 2 team leader positions open in the security department. Let Minghui and Mingming go apply. Security team leader? It sounds like a prestigious title. Thank you, sister-in-law. Zheng Gao thanked her with a smile. We are all family. I knew that you would never let us down. Zheng Sheng pondered, security department? Isn't the security department, security? Job title, security is a new concept at this time, and many are still uncertain about it. It's security. Mrs. Zheng nodded. Upon hearing this, Zheng Sheng was not pleased. Security guard? Isn't that just a gatekeeper? How can we let Minghui become a gatekeeper? Although it's a family business, sister-in-law, you should at least give Minghui a position. Zheng Gao was also unhappy. Sister-in-law, Mingming is after all your biological nephew. How can you stand to let him guard the door? What? Do you two also look down upon the position of security team leader? Mrs. Zheng laughed and asked. Sister-in-law, we're all family here. There's no need for this, is there? Exactly. Zheng Corporation has so many cushy jobs. You'd rather give them to outsiders than keep them for your own nephews. Sister-in-law, that's questionable. Madame Zheng picked up her teacup. Precisely because Minghui and Mingming are my nephews, I want to give them the chance to serve as team leaders. If Mingming were an outsider, he wouldn't even qualify to step into the Zheng Corporation. The last sentence was not spoken loudly, but it turned Zheng Sheng and Zheng Jun pale. Sister-in-law, Madame Zheng continued, do you two have other things to say? If not, I want to rest. Yes, we do. Zheng Gao nodded hastily. Say it. Mrs. Zheng was succinct. Zheng Gao looked troubled as he glanced at Zheng Lingling and the other servants. Madame Zheng, a very intelligent woman, instantly understood his meaning. She looked at Zheng Lingling. Lingling, lead them out for now. Source, web novel. Com, updated on Envgo. Co. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 733, Go to NI Family _4. Alright, Mom. Zheng Lingling nodded. In an instant, all the servants in the room had left. Go ahead, what's on your mind? The old lady of the Zheng family continued. Zheng Gao nudged Zheng Sheng with his elbow. Zheng Sheng hesitated for a moment before speaking. Sis-in-law, I've heard that your and my brother's health have been poor recently. The old lady of the Zheng family spun her Buddha beads in silence. Zheng Sheng continued, Sis-in-law, as the saying goes, we can't deny aging. As one gets older, all bodily functions begin to weaken, stop working, and none could predict which comes first, tomorrow or an accident. Therefore, it's necessary to prepare in advance. At this point, Zheng Gao immediately lowered his voice and added, Don't blame me for being blunt as a younger brother, sis-in-law. Lingling is not your biological daughter after all. It's a common saying that one doesn't let one's riches benefit others. If there were to be any accidents, we can't simply let outsiders benefit, right? You still have Mingming and Minghui, who are capable of holding up the family. Zheng Lingling was just an outsider. She didn't have the right to inherit the property of the Zheng family. The old lady of the Zheng family's biological daughter had died long ago, so the heirs to the family property should be Zheng Mingming and Zheng Minghui. The old lady of the Zheng family sneered, beating around the bush, You seem to be hoping for my early death. Not at all, sis-in-law. You misunderstood. We didn't mean that. Zheng Sheng hurriedly explained. Zheng Gao continued, Sis-in-law, we just want to remind you, don't let outsiders benefit. Outsiders are still outsiders, and they will never fully belong. Exactly, exactly. The second brother is right, Zheng Sheng said. Chao Lingrua's surname is Chao. Even if it's changed now, she still has Chao as her surname. She has Chao family's blood in her veins. Chao Lingrue was Zheng Lingling's former name. Rest assured, even if I really have an accident and die, the Zheng family will not be taken advantage of. The old lady of the Zheng family spoke frankly. Zheng Sheng and Zheng Gao appeared uncomfortable. Who talks like that? Shed really killed the conversation. You may leave. The old lady of the Zheng family stood from the sofa. I'm tired. As she finished speaking, she left Zheng Sheng and Zheng Gao behind. Zheng Sheng and Zheng Gao exchanged glances, both seeing disappointment in each other's eyes. The old lady of the Zheng family went to the study room upstairs, letting out a tired sigh. Aching. The old master, carrying a watering can, walked over from the balcony. Did you go out today? The old lady of the Zheng family asked. Yes, the old master nodded. Aching, I have something to discuss with you. At that moment, Zheng Lingling knocked on the door of the study room. Mom, Auntie Jiang is here. The old master glanced at the doctor and then said, Then I'll talk to you later. As he finished speaking, he headed towards the balcony. The balcony was filled with his favorite plants. Though it's winter, the red plum blossoms were exceptionally brilliant. The old lady of the Zheng family got up to welcome Dr. Jiang. Xiaoyan is here. Aching. Dr. Jiang put down her medical case and looked down the stairs in a low voice. I just saw Zheng Sheng and Zheng Gao downstairs. They seemed a bit upset. The old lady of the Zheng family casually said, Don't mind them. Dr. Jiang continued, Those two are amusing. They were eager to ask about your and Zheng Jun's health conditions when they saw me coming in. When I told them you were fine, they seemed quite disappointed. Zheng Lingling seized this opportunity to sow discord. Mom, if you ask me, we shouldn't let those two men casually enter our house anymore. They are just eyeing our property. The old lady of the Jiang family looked at Jiang Lingling. You, as a junior, has no place to interrupt. Even if Zheng Sheng and Zheng Gao were overstepping, they were the elders. Zheng Lingling shut her mouth abruptly. Dr. Jiang laughed and said, "Don't blame Lingling for being blunt. Those two men really have gone too far. Even I, as an outsider, find it hard to watch." The old lady of the Zheng family responded, "Zheng Sheng and Zheng Gao are indeed a bit greedy, but it's not unforgivable." Dr. Jiang nodded and didn't continue the topic. "Anyway, Aching, how have you been feeling recently? Any discomfort?" "Same as before," the old lady of the Zheng family replied. "Oh." After the examination, Dr. Jiang repeated her usual advice, "Aching, there are no major problems with your health. Just make sure to take your medication on time and take care of yourself." "Okay," the old lady of the Zheng family nodded. "Zheng Jun hasn't been feeling too well lately. Lingling, go get your dad and let Auntie Jiang have a look at him." Source: Web Novel. Com, updated on Envgo. Co. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 734, Go to NI Family _5. Alright. Zheng Lingling walked towards the door. After a while, Zheng Lingling came back alone. Madame Zheng asked in surprise, "Lingling, where's your father?" Zheng Lingling said, "My father said he's fine, he doesn't need to see the doctor." Madame Zheng shook her head helplessly. After all these years, he's still stubborn, like a child. How can he not see a doctor when he's not feeling well? I'll go call him myself. Madame Zheng then walked out the door. Only Dr. Jiang and Zheng Lingling were left in the study room. Dr. Jiang said, "Lingling, I heard about your father being unwell before, isn't he better now?" "No." Zheng Lingling shook her head. Dr. Jiang took a sip of tea. "Did you give your father the medicine I gave you last time?" Zheng Lingling laughed and said, "My father is odd, he's reluctant to take medicine, so I put the medicine in the ginseng soup. I'm not sure if the ginseng will affect the medicine's efficacy." Over the years, the old Mr. Zheng hasn't had any serious illnesses, nor has he seen a doctor. Even when it comes to Dr. Jiang, who is good friends with Madame Zheng, he is reluctant to let her examine him. He's quite particular. Dr. Jiang laughed and said, "You're such a filial child. Don't worry, ginseng is good, it won't affect the efficacy of the medicine." "Alright, then I'll still use ginseng in the future." Dr. Jiang nodded. Zheng Lingling glanced out the window, then continued, "Last time my mother couldn't find Tingting, I don't know if there's any news now, it's so worrying." Speaking of this, Zheng Lingling sighed and said, "I just don't know how my poor little sister Tingting is doing now, these things can't be rushed." Dr. Jiang said, "What is destined to be will eventually be, and what isn't can't be forced. Your mother has waited for over 30 years, what's another day?" Zheng Lingling sighed again, "I'm afraid my father and mother won't be able to hold up, after all, Dr. Jiang patted Zheng Lingling's hand, "Don't worry." After a while, Madame Zheng came back, somewhat helplessly said, "He's as stubborn as a mule, I can't do anything about him." Dr. Jiang laughed and said, "This is how Zheng Jun was when he was young, I'm used to it. I just came in and saw he looked pretty well, there should be no major health problems, you don't need to worry." As a doctor, these words from Dr. Jiang reassured Madame Zheng. Taking into account that the two old sisters had a lot to talk about, Zheng Lingling tactfully left the study and closed the door. Dr. Jiang and Madame Zheng chatted a bit about irrelevant things, then Dr. Jiang asked, "Aching, are you still looking for Tingting?" Madame Zheng shook her head, "Since Dr. Wang gave me the appraisal result last time, I've had no hope for this matter. I won't look for her anymore, never again." Although Dr. Jiang is the person Madame Zheng trusts the most, she can't tell Dr. Jiang the truth about this matter. It's a secret between her and old Mr. Zheng. Moreover, if one more person knew about this matter, the risk would increase. Tingting is your flesh and blood, how can you not look for her? Dr. Jiang said, I feel that Dr. Wang is a bit careless. Actually Dr. Shaoran is not bad, you can look for Dr. Shaoran. Madame Zheng shook her head again, I think Dr. Shaoran is young, although I have some friendship with her mother, I don't trust her. Dr. Jiang nodded, you're right. Shaoran is indeed too young, so, you won't look for her anymore? Dr. Jiang continued, although Lingling is more filial than a biological daughter, she is not a blood relative of the Zheng family after all. In my opinion, Zheng Sheng and Zheng Gao had a point, one cannot live forever. You can't let the vast Zheng family fortune go to outsiders after you pass away. Madame Zheng looked at Dr. Jiang, Xiaoyan, are you also taking their side now? Are you a spokesman that they've hired? Dr. Jiang laughed, Qing, how could you think that way? Madame Zheng continued, since that's not the case, don't bring them up again. Zheng Jun and I are old now, we just want to live our last years in peace, we don't want to fuss about it anymore. Saying this, Madame Zheng continued, besides, Lingling is a good child. She's been filial to us for so many years in the Zheng family, and has also given us a smart and clever granddaughter, we're already content. Source, web novel. Com, updated on Envgo. Co. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 735, Go to NI Family _6. Dr. Jiang nodded, true, contentment breeds happiness. After some more chatting with old lady Zheng, Dr. Jiang left the Zheng family. Zheng Lingling saw Dr. Jiang to the door. Please watch your step. Dr. Jiang nodded, I will. Also, according to your mother, she seems to have given up finding Tingting. If you have a chance, try to persuade her. Blood is thicker than water after all, she should still try to look for her. Upon hearing this, Zheng Lingling's face was filled with disbelief. Not looking for her? That old witch really gave up. She just gave up on her own daughter? Zheng Lingling narrowed her eyes, all right, I will try to persuade my mother. Thank you for today. You're welcome. The study room upstairs in the Zheng's home. When Dr. Jiang had just left, Master Zheng came in. Qing, I met a girl today with excellent medical skills. Your health keeps deteriorating, let's have her take a look. Old lady Zheng laughed, look who's talking. I wonder who the one refusing medical treatment is. Master Zheng had nothing to say. Old lady Zheng added, Xiaoyan says my health is fine, there's no need to call another doctor, right? I think she's a quack. She always says you're fine but your constant coughing proves otherwise. Master Zheng furrowed his brow. Old lady Zheng laughed, it's just a bit of coughing. No need to overreact. As soon as she finished, old lady Zheng started coughing violently. Are you alright? Master Zheng quickly patted old lady Zheng's back. Don't worry, it's not going to kill me, old lady Zheng reassured, waving her hand. Master Zheng's face fell, don't talk about dying. Old lady looked at him in surprise. Master Zheng continued, until we find Tingting, we all have to stay well. Nobody can talk about death. He wants to meet his daughter alive. Old lady Zheng laughed, alright, we won't talk about it. Master Zheng insisted, Qing, seriously, you should let that girl examine you. Old lady Zheng replied, Xiaoyan has been taking care of my illness all along. If suddenly another doctor comes in, how will Xiaoyan feel? Not to mention her long-standing friendship with Dr. Jiang. Master Zheng considered, then continued, how about this? Well, go to that girl's house directly, so she can check on me too. Well, keep it a secret, not telling anyone. That could work, old lady Zheng nodded. As long as it doesn't embarrass Dr. Jiang. Let's go tomorrow then, Master Zheng added. Alright, well, go with your plan. The two old people chatted some more, and just then, there was a knock on the door. Zheng Xianjing walked in with 2 bowls of ginseng soup. "Grandpa, Grandma, it's time for your soup." "Okay," old lady Zheng nodded cheerfully. Master Zheng took a bowl, drank it all, and walked out without a word. He wasn't particularly close to Zheng Xianjing, but he wasn't indifferent to her either. He simply had nothing to say. Unlike other families, grandparents and grandchildren always have lots of things to talk about. Master Zheng could go a whole year without exchanging a word with Zheng Xianjing and Zheng Lingling. Zheng Xianjing watched Master Zheng's retreating figure with a flash of resentment in her eyes. She's always been kind to Master Zheng, but he never treated her like his own granddaughter. He only cared about his own daughter. It was surprising how dutiful and respectful Zheng Lingling was, making ginseng soup for them every day. What a waste of filial piety. "Xianjing, when did you get back?" Old lady Zheng asked. School had started by now, and Zheng Xianjing was normally in the dorm. Zheng Xianjing smiled. "I just got back, Grandma. The school canteen is terrible, making you lose weight. Let Chef Lu make you something delicious tonight to replenish yourself," suggested old lady Zheng. But old lady Zheng didn't truly care about her. If she really cared, she wouldn't have Chef Lu make the food. She would do it herself. As a grandmother, old lady Zheng never even made her a bowl of porridge, let alone anything else. Was it just because her mother wasn't her biological daughter? How ironic. Zheng Xianjing cursed old lady Zheng hundreds of times in her mind, but her face remained smiling. "Grandma, I'm not skinny at all. Besides, these days people in Western countries don't favor being overweight. It's better to be slim." Zhao family. Old lady Zhao chatted at length with Shengguan Furong. At that moment, a servant came to knock at the door. "Old lady, the people from the nursing home are here." "So soon?" Old lady Zhao was a little surprised, then she looked at Shengguan Furong and said, "Furong, the people from the nursing home are here. Can you please help me check? I've already paid them." "What are the people from the nursing home here for?" Shengguan Furong was curious. "They're here to pick up old lady Chang," old lady Zhao replied. Hearing this, Shengguan Furong was even more puzzled. Old lady Zhao sighed. "Speaking of old lady Chang, she is Lin Fang's former mother-in-law, also a pitiable woman. Her only son died in a car accident, leaving her paralyzed and alone. She previously suffered a lot under Lin Fang's hands. Now that she's lost all her ability to work, I found a nursing home for her to live in." When Lin Fang married into the family, she brought old lady Chang with her. Old lady Chang was now taken care of by Zhao family's servants. Now that Lin Fang was in prison and old lady Chang was bedridden, they couldn't just abandon her. That would be an atrocious act. Shengguan Furong remembered that indeed, Lin Fang had a bedridden mother-in-law. She nodded. "Okay, I'll go check." "Wait, Furong," old lady Zhao seemed to remember something. "What's up?" Shengguan Furong turned back. Old lady Zhao continued, "Can you ask the people from the nursing home to come back later? In a few days, Yang will come to follow up with my condition. We can ask her to examine old lady Chang as well. Now that old lady Chang can't talk or move, it's really pitiful. Old lady has also experienced similar desperation." "All right," Shengguan Furong nodded. The next day was Monday. At around 10 in the morning, Master Zheng and old lady Zheng arrived at Jinghua village by car. The cement road in Jinghua village was still under construction, so the car could only stop at the entrance of the village. As soon as they got off the car, old lady Zheng exclaimed, "The air here is so fresh." Master Zheng took a coat and draped it over old lady Zheng's shoulders. "The temperature difference between outdoors and indoors is quite large, don't catch a cold." Old lady Zheng snuggled into her coat. The Ni family's small courtyard was not hard to find. It wasn't long before the two old people found the main gate. Excuse me, is anyone home? Chirp chirp, a myna bird flew out from the yard, circling in the air. Just then, the door opened. Opening the door was Ni. Seeing the visitors, she was surprised and said, "Grandma Zheng." "Grandpa Zheng?" It turns out that these two old people are from the same family. Old Lady Zheng was equally surprised. Yang. Source, web novel. Com, updated on Envgo. Co. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 736, Spoiled Grandson Maniac _1 Old Master Zheng looked at the two of them, astonished. "Aching, so you and Yang, you know each other. Fate really is a marvelous thing." Old Madame Zheng said, "Yang is the divine doctor who cured Xiao Dai. So that's how it is." Old Master Zheng nodded. "Grandpa Zheng, Grandma Zheng, please come in." Yang stepped aside to let the elderly couple in. The courtyard was beautifully designed. Even in winter, it remained vibrant and full of life. Old Master Zheng and Old Madame Zheng looked around with surprise. A little chubby child ran towards them, shouting, "Sister! Sister!" Yang stretched out her hand and picked up the chubby child. "Yun, say hello to Grandpa and Grandma." Little Yun obediently greeted, "Grandpa, Grandma." Old Madame Zheng laughed and said, "Little Yun has grown so much. The last time I saw her, she was not even able to speak. Before you know it, she is already running around." Old Master Zheng looked at little Yun, somewhat dazed. His eyes were suddenly filled with a tinge of red. He didn't know if it was because he was missing his granddaughter, but he felt that little Yun and Zheng Tingting looked identical when they were young. "Can I hold her?" Old Master Zheng asked Yang. "Sure." Yang nodded. Little Yun was always cautious and usually didn't let strangers hold her. However, today, she was exceptionally happy when Old Master Zheng picked her up. Old Madame Zheng looked at Old Master Zheng with surprise. She knew that Old Master Zheng didn't usually like children. When Zheng Xianjing was little, he never once held her in his arms. "Grandpa." Little Yun reached out to tug at Old Master Zheng's beard. "Grandpa, what is this?" "This is a beard." "Grandpa, what is that?" "That is a flower." "Grandpa is silly, that is a fafa." Old Madame Zheng almost thought she was hallucinating. Old Master Zheng was too out of character today, as if he was a completely different person. Yang, who is here?" Ni Tsuehua and Shengguan Dehui came out of the house. "Grandpa Zheng, Grandma Zheng, these are my parents." Yang introduced them. Shengguan Dehui recognized Old Master and Old Madame Zheng, Uncle Zheng, Auntie Zheng. "Dehui." The old couple looked at Shengguan Dehui in surprise. They had heard that Shengguan Dehui remarried, but they didn't expect him to have married Ni Yang's mother. "You two, please come in and have a seat," Ni Tsuehua said. All right, Old Master Zheng and Old Madame Zheng nodded. After entering the house, Ni Tsuehua and Shengguan Dehui busied themselves with serving tea and refreshments to the elderly couple. Ni Tsuehua said, "It's getting late, Dehui, you should go to work now. I can handle things here at home." It was Monday, and Shengguan Dehui had classes in the morning. "All right," Shengguan Dehui nodded, "I'll say hello to Uncle Zheng and Auntie Zheng before I leave." After greeting Old Master and Old Madame Zheng, Shengguan Dehui left. Old Master Zheng held little Yun the entire time. "Yang, your Grandma Zheng and I have been feeling unwell lately. Especially your Grandma Zheng, she's had a cough for many years and it hasn't gotten any better. Can you examine her first?" Yang gave a slight nod and proceeded to feel Old Madame Zheng's pulse. She knitted her eyebrows, her eyes focused, and the crystal lamp reflected a cool light in her eyes, making her look quite striking. After a while, she released old Madame Zheng's hand and asked, "Could I ask what medicine you've been taking lately?" Old Madame Zheng thought for a moment, then answered, "I can't remember the exact names, but generally, they are cough suppressants." "It's coddling and amoxicillin," Old Master Zheng answered. Old Madame Zheng looked at Old Master Zheng in surprise. She didn't expect him, who always seemed quietly withdrawn, to remember what medicine she was taking. Ni Yang frowned slightly. "Is it just coddling and amoxicillin? Does a tonic count as a medicine?" Old Master Zheng asked again. Ni Yang nodded, "It does. She also drinks ginseng chicken soup and takes some tonics like cordyceps and deer antler," Old Master Zheng said. Ni Yang continued, "Actually, the cough problem of Grandma Zheng isn't serious, but strangely, the medicine she has been taking over the years seems to have no effect on her. I suspect it has something to do with her usual diet. Some foods can counteract each other, not only eliminating the efficacy of the medicine but producing the opposite effect. Over time, a layer of slow-acting toxins harmful to health can accumulate in the body." Source: Web Novel. Com, updated on Envgo. Co. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 737, Crazy Grandson Pamper _2. Yang, are you suggesting that your Granny Zheng has been poisoned? Old Master Zheng asked. Yes. Ni Yang nodded slightly. That's one interpretation. Granny Zheng's cough has been going on for 10 years, though there were times when she got better. It worsened suddenly starting from last year, didn't it? Correct. Granny Zheng nodded. It started from last year. Ni Yang continued, has there been any change in your diet since last year? Granny Zheng said, other than 3 meals a day, I drink tonic medicines, the ones your grandfather Zheng just mentioned. Old Master Zhao hurriedly asked, how severe is Granny Zheng's condition now? Ni Yang's expression was somewhat solemn, it's serious but not too severe. However, if the toxins in Granny Zheng's body are not removed in time, there's always the risk it will deteriorate, putting her life at risk. Old Master Zheng turned pale. Yang, do you have a way to detoxify her? Granny Zheng, rest assured, there's always an antidote wherever there is poison. Lucky for us, Granny Zheng came in time. If it were any later, it would have been a tough situation. As she finished her sentence, Ni Yang added, every medicine has its toxicity, so during this period, do not consume those tonic medicines anymore. Very well, we appreciate your help Yang. Old Master Zheng nodded and sighed in relief. Ni Yang took out a small porcelain bottle and handed it to Granny Zheng. Granny Zheng, first take this detoxification pill. During this time, avoid alcohol, spicy food, raw or cold food. Also, don't continue taking ceftazole and amoxicillin. Okay. Granny Zheng solemnly accepted and memorized Ni Yang's words. After examining Granny Zheng, Ni Yang took Old Master Zheng's pulse. Old Master Zheng's pulse was very steady, but beneath the calmness lay subtle signs of trouble. Damage had been subtly inflicted on all his internal organs. Upon closer examination, one would find that his symptoms were surprisingly similar to Granny Zheng's. If the toxins in Granny Zheng's body resulted from food incompatibility, then what about Old Master Zheng's? How is it that both of them would be poisoned at the same time? Something did not seem quite right here. After a moment, Ni Yang let go of Old Master Zheng's wrist. Grandfather Zheng, have you also been drinking tonic medicines recently? Yes. Old Master Zheng nodded. Recently, Zheng Lingling had been making all sorts of tonic soups for him and Granny Zheng every day. Then who's been making this tonic? My daughter. Old Master Zheng answered. Ni Yang continued, Grandfather Zheng, lately you're having trouble sleeping and experiencing tinnitus and dizziness, right? Yes. Old Master Zheng nodded. You also have a layer of toxin in your body, similar to Granny Zheng's condition. Ni Yang revealed truthfully. Old Master Zheng frowned in realization. Is it because both Granny Zheng and I consumed incompatible foods? After all, they usually had the same meals. That's indeed possible, Ni Yang added, but we can't rule out the possibility of intentional poisoning. Intentional poisoning. Upon hearing these words, both Old Master Zheng and Granny Zheng turned pale. It couldn't possibly be intentional, could it? Granny Zheng said. Who would poison them in the Zheng family? The servants had no grudges against them, they would certainly not poison them. Then there was Lingling. But Lingling was their daughter, raised by them for over 30 years. Despite not being biologically related, they were as close as if they were. Lingling certainly wouldn't poison them. Ni Yang's tone was casual. Human intentions can be hard to discern, sometimes prevention is necessary. The toxins in both of you seeped into your bodies without your knowledge. Modestly speaking, a less experienced traditional Chinese medicine practitioner or hospital checkup wouldn't detect it. Ni Yang had lived 2 lifetimes, she had seen all sorts of incidents. Especially the conspiracies within wealthy families, which were even more exaggerated than the palace dramas in the future. Sometimes, human intentions couldn't stand close scrutiny. Continuing, Ni Yang said, however, I'm just raising a warning. Perhaps the toxins in both of you are caused by incompatible foods and are unrelated to intentional actions. After all, she didn't have any evidence yet and couldn't make unfounded accusations. Moreover, she didn't know much about Old Master Zheng and Granny Zheng's family situation. If it turns out to be a misunderstanding, that wouldn't be ideal. Source: Web Novel. Com, updated on Envgo. Co. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 738, Spoiled Grandson Maniac _3. Some things only need to be clear between 2 old people. Grandpa Mo and Grandma Mo didn't say a word. Ni Yang handed the completed prescription to Grandpa Mo. Grandpa Zheng, erase the prescription. Alright, thank you. Grandpa Zheng took the prescription with both hands and glanced at it, surprise flashing in his eyes. Refined strokes and vigorous spirit. The handwriting was gorgeous. They say handwriting reflects the person, and it was indeed the case. Just when the 2 elders were about to leave, the sky that had just cleared up, suddenly began to snow. This was the first snow after the beginning of spring. It had snowed for less than 10 minutes, and there was already a thin layer of snow on the ground. Ni Tsuihua went to cover the rabbit hutch with plastic sheets to prevent snow from entering. When she came back after covering the hutch, she ran into the old couple on their way out. Uncle Zheng, Auntie Zheng, it's snowing and the roads are slippery. Why don't you stay and have lunch? It's nearly noon anyway, said Ni Tsuihua, who was always a kind person, and couldn't bear to see the 2 elders trudging through the snow. Oh, we don't want to bother you, Grandma Zheng declined politely. It's no trouble at all, not at all. Ni Tsuihua walked in with Grandma Zheng's arm. We were going to have lunch anyway, so as long as you 2 don't mind, it's all good. After lunch, I'll get Ni Yang to drop you off at the village. Ni Yang didn't know it was snowing outside, and when she stepped out, she was taken aback. Grandpa Zheng, Grandma Zheng, my mom is right. You should stay for lunch and I'll take you to the village after we eat. The roads were slippery in the snow, and it was a little unsafe for Grandpa and Grandma Zheng, who were already quite old, to walk on their own. The 2 of them really loved the atmosphere in the Ni family's home. Seeing Ni Tsuihua and her daughters was genuinely heartwarming. They didn't refuse her any further and thanked them in their hearts for being such good people. They wondered what kind of elders they would have had to be, in order to raise such good descendants. Hot pot is the best for snowy days. Considering that the 2 elders could not eat spicy food, Ni Tsuihua specially made a delicious seafood hot pot. The pot was full of clams, Australia lobster, and king crab legs. The soup was creamy and mouth-watering, especially with the accompanying vegetable dishes. This was Beijing, and it was winter, so getting seafood was not easy, even for the rich and powerful families. But the Ni family was different. They had Imo-chishan. Because Ni Yang liked seafood so much, all of these items were flown in by Imo-chishan. The king crab brought in was still alive at that time. Ni Tsuihua was a very considerate person and she peeled a lot of crab and shrimp meat for Grandpa and Grandma Zheng. Grandpa Zheng usually didn't have much of an appetite, but today he ate all the crab and shrimp meat that Ni Tsuihua had prepared without a word. If you looked closely, you could see the tears glittering in his lowered eyes. If his daughter hadn't been lost, now she should be taking care of him like Ni Tsuihua, right? Grandpa Zheng swallowed his tears along with the crab meat. Grandma Zheng put a piece of peeled crab meat into Ni Tsuihua's bowl. Yang Yang's mom, don't just peel for us. You should eat too. All right. Ni Tsuihua nodded, eating the crab meat. After the meal, Grandpa Zheng was holding little Ni Yun, telling her stories. Little Ni Yun was fascinated. After each story, she clapped for Grandpa Zheng. Grandpa is awesome. Grandpa Zheng was so happy he couldn't stop smiling, which was quite a departure from his usual serious demeanor. After listening to the 10th story, little Ni Yun suddenly said, "Grandpa, let's play hide and seek." "Sure." Grandpa Zheng nodded. Little Ni Yun jumped off Grandpa Zheng's lap at the mention of this and ran into the house. After a while, she came back with a small handkerchief. "Grandpa, is it?" "All right." Grandpa Zheng nodded again. Little Ni Yun blindfolded Grandpa Zheng with the handkerchief, and the old and the young started playing hide and seek. The living room was filled with laughter from both of them. Grandma Zheng never knew that Grandpa Zheng could be so childlike. After they finished playing hide and seek, little Ni Yun brought a comb, rubber bands, and small clips. "Grandpa, can I braid your hair?" She often did this for her father, who praised her braids as pretty. Grandpa Zheng's expression was somewhat subtle. He had lived for so many years, and this was the first time anyone had wanted to braid his hair. Chapter 739, Spoiled Grandson Maniac _4. Ni Tsuihua said, "Yun Yun, sweetie, don't bother Grandpa anymore." The old man Zheng laughed and said, "That's all right. It's a good thing that children like to play." As he spoke, the elder Zheng lowered his head, letting little Ni Yun play on his head. A look of disbelief covered the old Mrs. Zheng's face. The elder Mr. Zheng was acting too strange today. If she hadn't seen with her own eyes, she would have thought he was another person. Not only had little Ni Yun plaits 3 braids on Mr. Zheng's head, but she also clamped a pink clip to his beard and smeared lipstick and foundation on him, making him look very funny. Elder Mr. Zheng had always been old-fashioned and serious. He had never acted like this before. Mrs. Zheng couldn't help but laugh out loud. Little Ni Yun held her face with both hands and said admiringly, "Wow, Grandpa looks so pretty." Elder Mr. Zheng, "Ha ha." Old Mrs. Zheng laughed so hard that she fell onto the sofa and held her stomach. Little Ni Yun, excited, said, "Grandpa, see, Grandma was knocked out by your beauty." At this point, even Ni Yang couldn't help but laugh. Being able to let little Ni Yun play around like this, Elder Mr. Zheng must be extremely indulgent with grandkids at home. Pleasant times always seem to pass quickly, and in the blink of an eye, it was 4 in the afternoon. The winter's early evening comes much earlier than in summer. By 4:10 p.m., it was already getting dark. When the elder Mr. Zheng and Mrs. Zheng proposed to leave, Ni Tsuihua and Ni Yang, along with little Ni Yun, accompanied the old couple to the village entrance. Little Ni Yun was very reluctant to part with elder Mr. Zheng. "Grandpa, don't go away. Don't worry, Grandpa will come and visit you often." Elder Mr. Zheng patted little Ni Yun's head. Then let's pinky swear. Little Ni Yun held out her pinky finger. All right. Old Mr. Zheng made a pinky promise with little Ni Yun. Wait a minute. Little Ni Yun continued, Grandpa, I have another gift for you. What's the gift? This is my most favorite hair clip. I'm giving it to you now. Little Ni Yun reluctantly shared her treasured pink pearl hair clip, clipping it onto Elder Zheng's head. Thank you, little Yun Yun. Elder Mr. Zheng looked very happy. You're welcome. Little Ni Yun said shyly. The elderly couple got in the car and waved to Ni Yang and Ni Tsuehua, Yang Yang's mom. Yang, it's getting dark. You guys should go home. The mother and daughter waved back at them. The car quickly disappeared into the snowy landscape. The atmosphere in the car was quiet, but the corners of the elderly couple's mouths were filled with a soft smile. After a while, Elder Mr. Zheng said, Ching, don't you think that Yang and little Yun Yun resemble Artingting when she was a child? Especially little Ni Yun, her chubby little face looked exactly like Zheng Tingting did as a baby. Hearing these words, Elder Mrs. Zheng said in surprise, You think so too? She thought she was the only one who thought that. Elder Mr. Zheng looked similarly surprised, You think so too? Yes. Elder Mrs. Zheng nodded, then said, Didn't I tell you last time that I met someone who looked just like Artingting? That was Yang Yang's mom, and the hair that Dr. Xiaoran had taken for testing was also hers. I don't know if Dr. Xiaoran has the results yet. Elder Mr. Zheng let out a sigh. Xiaoran is a responsible kid. If there were results, she would definitely call us straight away, Mrs. Zheng said. Elder Mr. Zheng nodded. When the two returned home, Zheng Lingling asked anxiously, Mom, Dad, it's snowing so hard outside, where did you go today? I was worried all day at home. You two are not young anymore, and the snowy roads are slippery. What should I do if an accident occurs? Elder Mr. Zheng didn't say anything as usual, he went straight upstairs. Elder Mrs. Zheng laughed and said, Your dad and I went to the countryside to relax, you don't need to worry. Zheng Lingling continued, Mom, Dad, next time you go somewhere, please tell me in advance. I will accompany you so I won't worry. What are these stubborn old people up to? They wouldn't be looking for their daughter again, would they? They're really a couple of worrywarts. Zheng Tingting has been dead for hundreds of years, why can't they just calm down? Even though she's not their biological child, she is more filial than a real daughter would be. Why can't they be satisfied with that? Don't they know the saying, a man's heart is not enough to swallow an elephant? Elder Mrs. Zheng continued, Lingling, you're also working very hard. You should rest more when you have time. Your dad and I can take care of ourselves. Chapter 740, Spoiled Grandson Maniac _5. Zheng Lingling humbly replied, It's no trouble. What could be so hard for me? I guess this old witch does have a bit of a conscience, acknowledging my daily hustling. Then I'll go upstairs first. All right, Mom. Mrs. Zheng turned and went upstairs. In no time, Zheng Lingling brought up the ginseng soup. Mom, Dad, this is today's ginseng soup. Just as Mrs. Zheng was about to say something, Mr. Zheng spoke, Thank you, Lingling, well drink it later. Zheng Lingling nodded, Dad, you should drink it sooner, its effectiveness decreases once it gets cold. Mr. Zheng nodded in agreement. Without overthinking, Zheng Lingling turned and left. Then, Mrs. Zheng proceeded, Why didn't you tell her earlier, so she won't make these supplements anymore? Mr. Zheng responded, We just came back from outside today. If we immediately tell Lingling not to make these supplements, it would arouse suspicion, right? Normally, there are no secrets among family members. But the current situation is special. Not everything is appropriate to share with Zheng Lingling. Mrs. Zheng nodded, True, that makes sense. Then Mr. Zheng poured both bowls of ginseng soup into a nearby watering can. The soup was more suitable as plant water. Ni Yang went to the Zhao families today, to check up on Mrs. Zhao. Mrs. Zhao's recovery was going well, and she now had full mobility in her upper body. After the examination, Mrs. Zhao started talking to Ni Yang about Mrs. Chang. A doctor's heart must be of benevolence. Hearing Mrs. Zhao's words, Ni Yang was deeply sympathetic and asked, "Where is Mrs. Chang now? I can go and take a look." Mrs. Zhao said, "Butler, please take Yang Yang." The butler nodded and turned to Ni Yang, "Miss Ni, please follow me." Mrs. Chang was staying in the Zhao family's guest room and was currently under full-time care. Thanks to the caretaker's diligent care, Mrs. Chang seemed quite healthy. Although Mrs. Chang's symptoms appeared similar to Mrs. Zhao's, Ni Yang found something unusual after conducting an examination. Mrs. Chang's loss of speech wasn't due to a stroke, but because she was poisoned by a mute-inducing drug. Could it be Lin Fang? With Lin Fang's malicious nature, there was indeed a possibility. Fortunately, she could cure the effects of the drug. Although she could restore Mrs. Chang's speech, she couldn't do anything about her legs. Her legs were completely necrotic and because they were not treated in time, they had fully atrophied. Unless the technology to regenerate muscles becomes a reality, Mrs. Chang standing on her own would be impossible. Ni Yang first used several acupuncture needles on Mrs. Chang to clear the stagnation causing her muteness, then fed her a black pill. Mrs. Chang only felt an area of coolness in her throat and a ticklish sensation, almost like something was about to break through the surface. At that moment, Ni Yang held her upright and gave her a glass of water. Like a rainstorm hitting a parched desert, Mrs. Chang vigorously swallowed. In less than 30 seconds, she had drunk the whole glass of water. "Thank you." Mrs. Chang expressed her gratitude with a hoarse voice. Ni Yang smiled slightly, "Congratulations, you can talk again." It finally dawned on Mrs. Chang, I can speak." Ni Yang nodded, "Yes." Mrs. Chang grabbed Ni Yang's hand, "Young lady, thank you. I am a doctor, and this is what I should do." Ni Yang began packing up her medical kit. "By the way, what happened to your voice?" "It was Lin Fang." Mrs. Chang tightly gripped the bed cover. "It was all because of that wench. She not only caused the death of my son but also made me lose my speech." Ni Yang looked surprised. "So, it really was her." Upon hearing of this, Mrs. Zhao immediately called the police, as poisoning someone to mute them is certainly not a minor offense. In front of the police, Mrs. Chang revealed all of Lin Fang's wrongdoings throughout these years. As a result, Lin Fang's prison term was increased from 3 years to 8. Subsequently, Mrs. Zhao had the staff at the nursing home take Mrs. Chang to the nursing home. Mrs. Zhao felt sorry for Mrs. Chang's predicament and arranged for her to stay in a high-end single room in the nursing home with one-on-one nursing care. The cost was quite high, at 500 yuan per year. In the eyes of ordinary people, 500 yuan is a fortune, but for Mrs. Zhao, it was nothing. Additionally, Mrs. Zhao gave Mrs. Chang 1,000 yuan in cash, which Mrs. Chang insisted she couldn't accept. Chapter 741, Spoiled Grandson Maniac _6. She already owes the Zhao family so much, and the situation with Lin Fang and Mrs. Zhao was a regrettable disaster. She was truly remorseful. Mrs. Zhao sat in her wheelchair, tightly clasping Mrs. Chang's hand. "You're also a victim, dear sister. Hold on to this. Whenever you crave anything in the nursing home, send someone to buy it. This is all I can offer you now." Tears streamed down Mrs. Chang's face as she said, thank you. You're a genuinely good person." The nursing home was a pleasant environment. Mrs. Chang liked it a lot. Besides, there were a lot of elderly people around, so the caretakers could will her out to chat during their free time. Ni Yang visited a recently opened noodle restaurant branch for an audit today. The branch manager was a woman named Su Mei. Su Mei was a highly inspirational woman. At 39, she had lost her husband to cancer 3 years ago and was now living with her 18-year-old daughter and mother-in-law. Originally, Ni Yang would routinely appoint villagers from Jinghua village as managers, but now, none remained. Hence, Ni Yang had to hire externally. Su Mei was exceptionally responsible and cherished this job. Yang, here are the accounts for these past few days. Would you take a look? Su Mei handed Ni Yang the ledger and 3 large iron boxes. Despite their unassuming and slightly rusty exterior, they held all the revenue earned in the last few days. Thank you, Aunt Su Mei. Ni Yang took the ledger. She skimmed through the ledger, her casual demeanor concealing the thoroughness of her scrutiny. Only Su Mei knew how meticulous Ni Yang was, picking up on the slightest irregularities. The boxes contained a week's worth of total business turnover, amounting to 35,600 yuan. With the earnings from the neighboring milk tea shop, the total came to 78,000 yuan. The money was organized neatly. 50 yuan notes were grouped together, as were the single yuan notes. The numerous coins contributed to the nearly 20 kilograms of cash. Just as they were counting the money, a young schoolgirl rushed in with her backpack. Mom! Hui, what happened? You look flustered, Su Mei asked. The young girl was Su Mei's daughter, Sun Hui. Out of breath, Sun Hui said, Mom, Grandma fell in the yard. She was taken to the hospital by Aunt Zhang from next door. Upon hearing this, Su Mei tensed up. What happened? Why would your grandma suddenly fall? Ni Yang looked up and said, Aunt Su, feel free to leave if you have anything urgent to handle. But the shop is so busy. Su Mei felt a little reluctant. Ni Yang smiled and said, Don't worry, I'm still here. Hurry up and go. Emergencies shouldn't wait. You know I always want to be a considerate employer. At that moment, Sun Hui looked at Ni Yang and exclaimed, The school beauty. Ni Yang was taken aback. Sun Hui continued, My name is Sun Hui. I'm a student in class 6 of grade 3 at San Middle School. Aren't you the school beauty, Ni Yang? With her striking looks, and having attained the top spot in the transfer student examination, Ni Yang was practically a legend at the school. Ni Yang smiled and replied, I am Ni Yang, but being called the school beauty is too flattering. School beauty, do you also work part-time here? Hui asked. Su Mei said, Yang is the boss here. Presumably surprised, Hui exclaimed, Oh my god. You're so amazing, school beauty. Although owning a business sometimes had a negative connotation, it wasn't something just anyone could accomplish. Ni Yang continued, Hui, didn't you say that your grandma had a fall and is in the hospital? You and Aunt Su Mei should go and check on her quickly. Reminded by Ni Yang, Sun Hui suddenly remembered, That's right, Mom, let's go quickly. Su Mei untied her apron, a little embarrassed, then Ni Yang, we'd better get going. Right, Ni Yang nodded and continued, If you encounter any difficulties, Aunt Su, feel free to let me know at any time. Sure, thank you, Yang. Mother and daughter hastily rushed out of the shop. Sun Hui said, Our school beauty seems nice. I used to think she was aloof, but it turns out she's very approachable. There wasn't a popular word like cool to describe one's demeanor in those days. Aloof was a fair pre-modern equivalent. Su Mei nodded, Yes, Yang is a nice person. Upon reaching the hospital, they discovered that Mrs. Sun didn't have any serious injuries. She had just scraped her head, and after a bit of bandaging, she could be discharged. Seeing that Mrs. Sun was fine, Su Mei heaved a sigh of relief, admonishing, Mom, you need to be careful when you're at home alone. We were lucky nothing serious happened today. But what if you'd hurt your legs instead? Mrs. Sun nodded, chuckling, I know. It had just snowed a few days ago, and the ground was icy. I was walking a bit too fast and didn't realize I would slip. Time flew, and another month passed. The ice and snow have melted, the willows on the riverbank began to sprout, and the silhouettes of swallows nesting could be seen everywhere on the roofs and eaves. The warm sun was high in the sky, and Ni Yang was loosening the soil for the plants in the yard. Shengguan Dehui, Ni Tsuehua, and Mrs. Shengguan had taken little Ni Yun to fly kites by the riverbank. Ni Yang was too lazy to join them, so she stayed home. At this moment, a pair of slender hands playfully covered Ni Yang's eyes. A faint scent of tobacco emanated from her sleeves. "Guess who I am?" Ni Yang turned slightly and laughed. I'm guessing it must be Guzi from next door. Swiftly confess who Guzi is. The more you resist, the worse it gets. Mo Chishan released her, hooked his arm around her waist, and pulled her close. He leaned over her, his lips brushing against hers. The scent of smoke was clear. Seeing that he was not going to stop, Ni Yang gently pushed him away, laughing. "Brother Mo, when did you get back?" The sunlight shone on his dimples, making her want to kiss him again. "I just got back. I came to see you right away." "How was it, boss? Did I do a good job?" Mo Chishan rested his head on her neck and asked. 3 months. It had been 3 full months since he had last seen their boss. Ni Yang laughed and replied, "Still under review." In Mo Chishan's presence, Ni Yang was spared the chore of tilling and fertilizing the dirt. This was his first time handling such a taxing task, but under Ni Yang's guidance, he managed to do it quite well. The Zheng family. Mrs. Zheng received a phone call and hurriedly ran to the backyard. "Zheng Jun." Mr. Zheng was weeding the flowers. Hearing Mrs. Zheng call his name, he answered questioningly, "What's up?" Mrs. Zheng rarely used his name unless it was something important. Mrs. Zheng was on the verge of tears. I just got a call from Dr. Shaoran. She asked us to come ASAP. Clang. The hoe in Mr. Zheng's hand fell to the ground. "All right. Well, leave right now." Chapter 742, Identification Results, Confirmed Biological. _1 The two elderly people propped each other up as they walked out. Old Master Zheng said, "Aching, what did Shaoran say? Sometimes the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment." Old Master Zheng didn't want to experience that feeling of loss again. Judging from Zioran's tone, it should be good news. Old Madame Zheng's voice was trembling. On the phone, Dr. Zioran's voice was filled with suppressed joy. This time, it must be for sure. Really? Old Master Zheng's eyes turned red. "Yes," said old Madame Zheng, nodding. "Quick, change your clothes. We need to leave right now." Old Master Zheng had just been weeding the garden, and there was a fair amount of dirt on his clothes. "What's the point of changing? Let's go." At this moment, old Master Zheng was in no mood to change his clothes. He was desperate to get to Dr. Zioran's place immediately to see the results. Nothing is more important than his own daughter. "If you don't want to change, then let's go." Old Madame Zheng took old Master Zheng's sleeve and headed out. The two were hurrying and ran into Zheng Lingling at the door. Seeing the two elders in such a hurry, Zheng Lingling asked with concern, "Mom, Dad, where are you rushing off to?" Before the matter was confirmed, old Madame Zheng didn't want to tell Zheng Lingling, "Your father and I have promised each other that we will go to see a play at 11 o'clock this morning, and it's almost time. Let me drive you." Zheng Lingling followed the elders. She always felt that old Master Zheng and old Madame Zheng were hiding something from her. It was not as simple as watching a play. These two old farts. Old Madame Zheng and old Master Zheng got in the car, and denied, "Lingling, you stay at home, there are other things to do at home, your father and I will go first." After speaking, she closed the car door and said to the driver in front, "Xiaolu, let's go." Zheng Lingling looked at the car leaving a trail of dust. there was only dissatisfaction in her eyes. Now, Zheng Lingling could basically conclude that old Madame Zheng and old Master Zheng were not just going out to watch a play. What the hell these two old bastards are hiding from her? Does it have something to do with Zheng Tingting? So many years have passed, Zheng Tingting is still not dead? Zheng Lingling turned and walked towards the villa. Just at this moment, as if she suddenly remembered something, she squinted, turned her head and looked at the maid. Get Xiaozhang for me, I have to go out. Yes, madam. The maid nodded. In a little while, Zheng Lingling took a car and arrived at a common residential area. This was where Dr. Jiang lived. Aunt Jiang. When Zheng Lingling arrived, Dr. Jiang was sipping tea on the sofa. The room was rather old, with a worn-out black and white TV set on the table. Hearing this, Dr. Jiang put down her tea with surprise. Lingling, what brings you here? Zheng Lingling followed with, I specifically came to thank you. After taking your medicine, my mom and dad have improved a lot. I haven't heard my mom cough for a month. Dr. Jiang squinted her eyes. Is the tonic still being cooked every day? Every day. Zheng Lingling replied. Dr. Jiang stood up from the sofa. I am really relieved to hear this. But even though your parents are much better now, they still need the daily tonic. Okay. Zheng Lingling nodded. Dr. Jiang went to the wooden shelf and picked up a white plastic bottle. If you keep taking the same medicine, the bacteria in the body will develop immunity. The old medicine won't work for your mother anymore. Replace it with this one. Okay, thank you Aunt Jiang. Zheng Lingling took the bottle. Dr. Jiang said, I and your mother have been old friends for decades, there's no need to thank. By the way, there's one more thing. Zheng Lingling continued. Tell me. Zheng Lingling glanced out the window, then lowered her voice and whispered something in Dr. Jiang's ear. Hearing this, Dr. Jiang's face changed. Don't worry, a soldier will block the way and the water will cover the earth. Dr. Jiang continued, besides, this is just your speculation. Go home first. Zheng Lingling hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Wait a moment. Dr. Jiang called out to Zheng Lingling's retreating figure. Zheng Lingling turned around. What's wrong, Aunt Jiang? You wait here for me. After speaking, Dr. Jiang turned around and walked towards the inner room. After a while, Dr. Jiang came out, with an extra bag in her hand. Chapter 743, Identification Result, Confirmed Biological. _2. What is this? Zheng Lingling asked puzzled. Dr. Jiang said, spring is coming soon, so this is a sweat that I knitted for Xianjing. She can start wearing it as a coat when the weather warms. Zheng Lingling was taken aback. Don't you have vertigo? Dr. Jiang suffered from vertigo that did not affect her daily life. Still, every time she did work that required bending down, her task resulted in unbearable dizziness, with sparkles in her vision. For fine work like knitting a sweater, the sweat and time she put in were many times more than ordinary people. For a time, Zheng Lingling was deeply moved. Dr. Jiang laughed and said, it's just a sweater, no big deal. I don't even know if Xianjing would like it. Zheng Lingling immediately said, she will love it. Xianjing will absolutely like it. How could Xianjing not enjoy a hand-knitted sweater like this? Furthermore, it symbolizes Dr. Jiang's goodwill. That's good. Dr. Jiang continued, all right, you should go back now. Zheng Lingling nodded. Aunt Jiang, you'll be leaving now. Dr. Jiang nodded, watching as Zheng Lingling left. Back home, Zheng Lingling handed the sweater knitted with love by Dr. Jiang to Zheng Xianjing and mysteriously said, Xianjing, see what's inside. What is it? Zheng Xianjing took the bag. What's the big mystery? You'll know when you see it. Zheng Lingling replied. Zheng Xianjing opened the bag and pulled out a yellow cardigan sweater and grimaced, oh my god. This sweater's color is horrific. It's shit yellow. Mom, did you buy this? Your taste is truly terrible. Zheng Lingling frowned slightly. What kind of things are you saying? What do you mean shit yellow? Isn't this color beautiful? Whatever, I don't like it. Zheng Xianjing carelessly tossed the sweater aside. Zheng Lingling picked up the sweater again. This is knitted by your granny Jiang. It's a token of her affection. How can you talk like this? Thinking of Jiang, the doctor with vertigo, insisting on knitting a sweater for Zheng Xianjing, Zheng Lingling's heart ached. What Granny Jiang, Zheng Xianjing continued, I think she didn't have good intentions. Last time I heard it outside the study room loud and clear. She told grandmother, a foster daughter can never equal a biological one, and even coaxed Granny to not give up on finding her biological daughter. Ever since she overheard that conversation outside the study, Zheng Xianjing couldn't find a single thing to like about Dr. Jiang. Dr. Jiang just muddied the waters, a cunning and petty individual. Zheng Lingling sighed, Xianjing, you're still young and don't understand some things. You just need to know one thing. Granny Jiang is really fond of you, she suffers from severe vertigo. Do you know how difficult it is for her to finish knitting this sweater? Zheng Xianjing managed a laugh. What does her vertigo have to do with me? It's not like I begged her to knit this sweater. Did she think that winning her over was that easy by using such a low-end strategy? Only Zheng Lingling could be deceived that easily. How could you be so ungrateful? Zheng Lingling said in frustration, look, Granny Jiang gave you a sweater despite having severe vertigo. What about your grandmother? Your grandmother is physically well, what has she given you? Compared to Granny Zheng, Dr. Jiang is more like a grandmother. Granny Zheng had never personally made anything for Zheng Xianjing. Zheng Xianjing snorted, they're both no good. Granny Zheng only ever cared about her biological daughter and never treated herself like her own granddaughter, and Dr. Jiang was only nice to her because of the Zheng family status. She was clearly a flatterer. Their kind is, in essence, fawning toadies. Zheng Lingling glared, Xianjing. How could you talk about Granny Jiang like that? Zheng Xianjing, at a loss for words, said, Mom, what on earth are you trying to say? Is it all for the sake of this shit-colored sweater? Is it worth it? For the last time, this sweater is not shit yellow. Zheng Lingling suppressed her anger. In a few days your Granny Jiang will come for Granny's physical checkup. By that time you'd better put it on and thank Granny Jiang properly. If you want to wear it you can, I want. Zheng Lingling then said, if you don't want to wear it, that's fine too. But if you want, you can forget about getting your allowance this month. Granny Zheng gives Zheng Xianjing 4,500 yuan in allowance every month. Although the money comes from Granny Zheng, it goes through Zheng Lingling's hands first. Chapter 744, Identification Result, confirmed to be biological. _3. Zheng Xianjing frowned, then took the sweater, I understand. Zheng Lingling sighed, Xianjing, one day you will understand my intentions. Dr. Zioran's lab is quite a distance from the Zheng family home. Zheng Patriarch is a very patient man, but today, patience seems to have lost its effect on him. He kept urging the driver, almost as if he wanted to jump out of the car, Xiaolu, hurry up. Even faster. Xiaolu said, Old master, this is as fast as I can go. The old man frowned discontentedly, the fastest speed is still so slow. It seems we need to get a new car. Zheng Matriarch was also very anxious. Xiaolu, isn't there a shortcut? Let's take the shortcut. Xiaolu said, Old master, old mistress, please don't worry. This is the fastest I can go. I think we should be able to reach Dr. Zioran's lab in about 10 more minutes. These 10 minutes felt longer than 10 years for the old couple. Finally, the car stopped in front of the lab. The patriarch couldn't wait and hopped out of the car, followed by the matriarch. In his haste, the old man almost tripped over a stone, but Xiaolu was able to lend support just in time. "Old master, please be careful." Hearing noises outside, Dr. Xiaoran, dressed in his white lab coat, came out of the lab. "Aching, Uncle Zheng, you're here." "Xiaoran." The matriarch grabbed hold of Dr. Zioran's hand. Even the usually reticent patriarch asked, "Xiaoran, what's the status of the test results?" Dr. Zioran's face showed no particular expression. He replied, "Aching, Uncle Zheng, please don't worry. Come inside and we'll talk." Seeing Dr. Xiaoran behaving like this, the couple felt a thump in their hearts. Were they going to be disappointed again? "Xiaoran, just tell Aching straight up if that girl is my Tingting or not." Tears welled up in the matriarch's eyes. Dr. Xiaoran invited them to sit on the sofa. "Aching, would you and Uncle Zheng like a cup of tea? Prepare yourselves mentally, and they'll get the report." Prepare mentally? Could it be that Ni Tsuhua really wasn't their daughter? The matriarch's smile quickly vanished, and the patriarch's mood became complex at that moment. They had hoped all along. Why must reality be so cruel? Why, just why? The patriarch let out a long sigh, covered his face with both hands, his heart filled with sorrow. This kind of discomfort was beyond words. Dr. Xiaoran quickly came back with the DNA test report in hand. "Uncle Zheng, here." The patriarch was lost in pain, and he didn't have the mood to accept the report. The matriarch took the report with trembling hands. The report was full of professional jargon. She skimmed through it, went straight to the last line. The genes of the examined align with the genetic conditions of the listed parents. The probability of their biological relationship has been calculated to be 9,999% at the bottom. There was a red seal. Confirmed biological. Confirmed biological. The expression on the matriarch's face shifted from infinite sadness to boundless joy. She was as happy at this moment as she was heartbroken when she lost her daughter. Thank God. This couldn't be more wonderful. The matriarch was so overjoyed that she cried, pressing the report to her chest, and started sobbing, "Tingting. My Tingting. Zheng Jun. Old man. We found our Tingting. Heaven has shown mercy." The patriarch paused, looking at his wife. "What did you say?" "She's ours. She's our biological Tingting. She is our Tingting. Look at this." The matriarch was almost babbling with joy. The patriarch reigned in his overwhelming joy and took the report with trembling hands. When he saw the red stamp that said, "Confirmed biological," tears welled up in his eyes. He had waited so many years. At last, he had found his biological daughter. She was his daughter. He knew his intuition wouldn't be wrong. "Aching. Old woman. We have found Tingting. We have found Tingting. We finally found Tingting." The patriarch hugged the matriarch and they both wept together. Dr. Xiaoran, standing nearby, smiled and said, "Aching, Uncle Zheng, it's good news that we found Tingting. You two should stop crying." "Yes, Xiaoran is right, this is good news. We shouldn't cry." The matriarch accepted the handkerchief Dr. Xiaoran offered, wiping away tears from the patriarch's face. He didn't expect her biological parents to show up so soon. "Uncle Zheng, Aunt Zheng, are you sure you haven't mistaken me for someone else?" Ni Tsuhua wiped away the tears from old Mr. and Mistress Zheng. Although she had long known she wasn't her parents' biological daughter, the idea that old Mr. and Mistress Zheng could be her biological parents was hard to believe. This was too incredible. Shengguan Dehui stepped forward and said, "Uncle Zheng, Aunt Zheng, this is not a joking matter. How are you so certain that Daya is your biological daughter?" He knew that the Jiang family had lost a daughter many years ago, and he could understand the elder couple's feelings. But if this turns out to be a misunderstanding, then the ones hurt wouldn't just be the elderly couple. Ni Tsuehua had always been curious to know what her biological parents looked like, and their reasons for abandoning her. Old Mistress Jiang choked back her sobs and said, "We didn't mistake her. We didn't. Daya is our daughter. She's Tingting." Old man, Zheng Jun, quickly show her the identification report. They have had misunderstandings in the past, which was why Old Mistress and Mr. Zheng were so cautious this time, waiting for the identification results before acknowledging their daughter. Old Mr. Zheng handed the report to Shengguan Dehui with trembling hands. Shengguan Dehui took the report and was shocked after reading it. So, Ni Tsuehua really was the biological daughter of Old Mr. and Mistress Zheng. Shengguan Dehui passed the report to Ni Tsuehua. "Daya, Uncle Zheng and Aunt Zheng are your biological parents." Ni Tsuehua took the report, and as she read the words on it, her eyes filled with tears. Chapter 746, Identification Result, Confirmed Biological. _5. She never dreamed that one day her biological parents would come looking for her in her lifetime. This all felt too surreal. Was she dreaming? "My daughter, my poor daughter, I'm sorry." Mrs. Zheng hugged Ni Tsuehua again. Mr. Zheng stood to the side, wiping his tears. "Why did you abandon me?" Ni Tsuehua asked. This is probably the question deep in the hearts of every abandoned child. Why did they abandon her? Since they didn't want her, why did they give birth to her in the first place? Thinking back on her past, Ni Tsuehua felt an overwhelming sense of injustice. Her adoptive father had sold her cheaply to Mu Jinbao for money. At the Mu family, she had had her fill of life's bitterness. Why? Now, seeing her biological parents, she just wanted to understand why. "My child, I'm sorry, I'm terribly sorry," Mrs. Zheng sobbed as she recounted the past. 35 years ago, life was not as prosperous as it is now. The nation was going through a turbulent period, and there was a shortage of talents. Mr. and Mrs. Zheng, due to their unique jobs, had to work 5,000 kilometers away from Beijing. At that time, Zheng Tingting was only 3 years old. The 3-year-old Tingting was very smart. Not only could she count to 100, but she could also recite 300 Tang poems. In her free time, Mrs. Zheng would also teach her English. Despite the tough living conditions in the mountainous region, the family of 3 was very happy. But their happiness was short-lived. One day, while Mrs. Zheng was taking Tingting to the temple fair, she got lost in the crowd. Mrs. Zheng was almost distraught and searched for 3 days and 3 nights without any sleep, but still could not find Tingting. Mr. Zheng would never forget that day. The day he found his wife. Mrs. Zheng had been unrecognizable. Her once spotlessly clean appearance was now filthy and foul, covered in injuries. She constantly called out for Tingting's name, but she did not have any tears left to cry. Perhaps only those who have experienced it can understand a mother's heart. Mr. Zheng couldn't bear to blame her. After his job was done, he took Mrs. Zheng back to Beijing and hired a foreign psychologist to help her. Mrs. Zheng's condition improved until Jiang Yan brought Zheng Lingling across the Pacific Ocean to meet her. Both of them had lost a beloved daughter, both of them had lost a family member. This shared suffering made Mrs. Zheng transfer all her love for her daughter to Zheng Lingling. But after that, Mrs. Zheng would visit the place where Tingting was lost every year. They never gave up looking for their daughter, but fate seemed to be constantly playing tricks on them. Fortunately this time, they finally found her. Tingting. "My child, we are finally reunited as a family, thanks to God's will. We will never separate again," Mrs. Zheng sobbed till she lost her voice. The news about the Zheng family had caused quite a stir in Beijing years ago. Shengguan Dehui had heard bits and pieces of it. "Daya, the situation is indeed as Aunt Jing described. She did not lie. Upon Shengguan Dihui's confirmation, Ni Tsuhua let go of her doubts, hugged Mr. and Mrs. Jing tightly and said, "Mom. Dad. AI. Ting Ting. My daughter." The elderly couple had waited so many years to hear these two words. The words, Mom and Dad, may seem simple. They consist of only 14 strokes in total. Probably only Mr. and Mrs. Jing knew how much effort they had put in to hear this call of Mom and Dad. They had been through so many false alarms. After the old couple had slightly calmed down, Shengguan Dehui and Ni Tsuehua guided them to the living room. Mr. and Mrs. Jing would hardly leave Ni Kuihua's side for a moment. They both held Ni Kuihua's hand on either side, as if afraid she would disappear the next second. The elderly couple surrounded Ni Tsuehua and talked to her about many things. Tingting, your full name is Zheng Tingting. Zheng from Zhengye, and Ting is the Ting from Pingting, graceful. Your dad has 2 younger brothers, your uncles, and also you have an aunt called Zheng Suyu, she lives in our house. Ni Tsuehua felt very strange at this moment. Her surname was originally Zheng. And her previous name was Zheng Tingting. Besides her parents, she had other relatives. Oh yes, Tingting, there's one more important thing I have to tell you. Mrs. Zheng continued. You may speak. Mrs. Zheng was carefully choosing her words, then she said, after you were lost, I adopted a daughter who is 4 years older than you. Her name was Chao Lingrui, but she changed it to Zheng Lingling. Lingling's mom was your aunt, who was my only sister. Your aunt and her husband died in a plane crash, and only Lingling was left. Chapter 747, Identification Result, Confirmed Biological. _6. She was afraid that Ni Tsuehua might take umbrage. After all, she had adopted Zheng Lingling shortly after Ni Tsuehua went missing. Yet after she explained, there were no particular changes on Ni Kuihua's face. Because to her, Zheng Lingling has also been unfortunate, losing her parents at the age of 7. It was only natural that Zheng's grandmother, the only relative Lingling had in the world, had adopted her. Seeing Ni Tsuehua didn't blame her, Zheng's grandfather and grandmother breathed a sigh of relief. Zheng's grandfather continued, Child, you've heard your mother's story, but we still don't know, how have you lived these years? I've been okay. Everything had happened a long time ago, and Ni Tsuehua didn't want to add to her parents' sadness. Daya had a very hard life. Shengguan Dehui suddenly interjected. When Daya was just a teenager, she was sold by her adoptive father to a family named Mu in a neighboring village. She had a horrible time there. The Muse abused her physically and verbally, blaming her for not delivering a son. They even discarded Daya's 3 newborn daughters, and then, since their marriage, there were hardly any secrets between Ni Tsuehua and Shengguan Dehui. Sometimes, only the crying child will get the milk. What's more, these were all things Ni Tsuehua had personally experienced. The situation would seem grossly unfair to Ni Tsuehua if she just casually dismissed that past. Vastly unfair. Zheng's grandfather and grandmother, who had managed to stop crying, broke down again at this point. Tingting, my poor child. We have let you suffer all these years, it's all our fault. All our fault. If only we had found you sooner, you wouldn't have had to suffer like this. We're sorry. We're very sorry. The things that Shengguan Dehui said can be unbearable to hear, enough to make one's hair stand on end. Nobody knew how Ni Tsuehua had made it through all those years. Grandpa Zheng and Grandma Zheng felt utterly heartbroken. They were struggling. Ni Tsuehua comforting Zheng's grandfather and grandmother, it's okay now. It's all over already, isn't it? The atmosphere in the living room was somewhat heavy. When Ni Yang and Mo Qishan returned from the river with little Ni Yun, this was the sight that greeted them. They all wore coronets made of willow on their heads. Yang, Xiaoma, you're back, Ni Tsuihua wiped the tears from her face. Come here, come. Ni Yang and Mo Qishan exchanged glances, both seeing confusion in each other's eyes. They walked over, holding little Ni Yun. With a hoarse voice, Ni Tsuihua said, Yun, this is your grandfather and grandmother. Technically, Ni Yang should call Zheng's grandmother and grandfather, grandpa and grandma. Zheng Lingling still maintained a smile on her face, feigning surprise. Is it Tingting? Zheng's grandmother nodded with tears in her eyes. Yes. It's your sister Tingting. We finally found her after all these years. What? Zheng Tingting is actually alive. Zheng Lingling was struggling to keep her smiled. Mom, Dad, are you sure? Don't let it be a false alarm like the last few times. These two old people. They just said a few days ago to Dr. Jiang that they wouldn't look for their biological daughter anymore. How come they found Zheng Tingting so quickly? She knew it, they never treated her as their own daughter from the start. Terrible. Just terrible. Zheng's grandmother said firmly, we won't be wrong this time, we absolutely won't. It's Tingting, my daughter. Suppressing her bitterness, Zheng Lingling continued, Mom, people are so fickle these days. There are so many people out there trying to associate with the powerful and wealthy. We must investigate everything thoroughly to avoid inviting the wolf into the house. By the way, have you done a paternity test? Who conducted it? Chapter 748, Recognize Relatives. _1 Zheng Lingling felt extremely upset. If Zheng Tingting were really found and brought back, what would happen to her and Zheng Xianjing? The return of Zheng Tingting would mean she is coming back to fight for the family inheritance. All these years, she had devotedly served these two old creatures, and this was the outcome she was facing. Mom, this is a big deal, we can't rush this. Zheng Lingling continued. There will be no mistake this time. We have already done the identification. She is my Tingting, my poor Tingting who suffered a lot in the past. As she spoke, the old lady Zheng burst into tears. Can I see the identification? Zheng Lingling asked next. The old man Zheng handed Zheng Lingling the identification papers. As she took the papers, she went pale in shock. She had thought that the old Mr. and Mrs. Zheng had merely found someone who looked like Zheng Tingting. She had never thought that these two old creatures had even got a parent-child identification done. If the identification had not been done, there might have been ways to salvage the situation. But now that it was done, what could she do? Zheng Lingling wished she could tear the paper to shreds right then and there. Mom, Dad, when did you get this identified? This is such a huge joyous event, why didn't you tell us about it? Zheng Lingling managed to keep her anger under control. When they went to Dr. Wang's to get the test, hadn't they already had Zheng Xianjing's hair replaced? When had they secretly gone again to get an identification done behind her back? Mrs. Zheng replied, we only got the result recently. Your father and I discussed it, and we didn't tell you because we were afraid it would be a false alarm. Ah, I see. Zheng Lingling said concernedly, Mom, Dad, congrats on finding Tingting. Oh, by the way, where is Tingting now? Why didn't she come back with you? Mrs. Zheng continued, your sister Tingting is at home right now. Your father and I have discussed it and are planning to throw a grand party for her homecoming and formally recognize our ancestors. Zheng Lingling's jealous heart was near twisting as she said, yes, it's indeed a great occasion to find Tingting after so long. We should throw a big party. Mom, let me take care of the banquet this time, I'll make sure it's grand. Mrs. Zheng smiled and said, Lingling, your willingness is enough. For this family reunion, your father and I want to personally take charge. We owe Tingting so much, we want to make it up to her. Handling the event personally, and leaving it to Zheng Lingling, would carry different meanings. See? This was the difference between a biological daughter and an adopted daughter. Now that the biological daughter had come back, the adoption daughter had become as insignificant as a blade of grass. She was even deprived of the privileges of organizing the banquet. If only she could remember that all the banquets of the Zheng family, big or small, had always been organized by her. Zheng Lingling suppressed her feelings and kept a smiling face. That leaves you and Dad with all the work then. Oh right, Mom, Dad, you haven't eaten yet, have you? I specifically asked the kitchen to save some food for you. I'll serve it to you upstairs now. Mrs. Zheng smiled and replied, you don't need to bother Lingling, your father and I already ate at Tingting's. The corners of Zheng Lingling's smile almost drooped. All right then, Mom, Dad, you two should get some rest early. Mrs. Zheng nodded, you should also rest early, Lingling. Zheng Lingling returned to her third-floor bedroom, still smiling. As soon as she closed the door, her face changed. Her eyes were filled with malice. What's wrong? Who has upset you again? Zheng Lingling's husband, sitting on the sofa reading the newspaper, looked up at Zheng Lingling as she entered. Zheng Lingling's husband was named Sun Wu. As a son-in-law who had married into the family, he didn't have much presence in the Zheng family. Zheng Lingling said angrily, you're still in the mood to read the newspaper, we won't have a foothold in the Zheng family soon. What happened? Sun Wu put down his newspaper. They found their biological daughter. Zheng Lingling said. Sun Wu was surprised, they actually found her. Would I joke about such a thing? Zheng Lingling was so angry, everything was irritating her. Sun Wu continued, this is unbelievable. She's been missing for 35 years and they found her. Where did they find her? They hid it so well, I hadn't heard a word beforehand. Sun Wu had never thought that Zheng Tingting, who had been missing for 35 years, could be found. Zheng Lingling got even angrier as she listened, and she grabbed a pillow and threw it at Sun Wu, Mother. You're still calling her mother. Do you think she considers you as her son-in-law? Just wait. Once her biological daughter comes back, our whole family will end up living under a bridge. She had been sisters with grandmother Zheng for a lifetime and she knew how hard her life had been. Now, things are starting to turn around. After they finished talking about the Zheng family, grandmother Mo looked at Mo Qishan and said, Sixth brother, you won't leave again after you get back this time, right? Mo Qishan took a sip of tea. Once I finish dealing with Yang Yang's family business, he'll have to take a trip to F country. Going to F country again? Grandmother Mo continued, isn't our China good? Why do you always run to F country? You hardly stay at home all year round, aren't you afraid that your wife will run off with someone else? Mo Qishan laughed, don't worry, Yang Yang is not that kind of person. Grandmother Mo sighed, sixth brother, in the future just stay at home honestly, don't go anywhere. We may not have many assets, but we can more than afford to keep you. Grandmother Mo was sincerely worried. Mo Qishan was already 29 this year, and still had nothing to his name, and a bad reputation to boot. Grandfather Mo was also worried, Yang was getting better and better, and he feared that Mo Qishan would not be able to keep up. Your mother is right, you're also not young anymore, you should stop running around in the future, stay honest in Beijing. I'll let Baichuan get you a small position at the company, it's time to settle down. Upon hearing this, Mo Qishan rubbed his temples helplessly, Mom, Dad, I'm okay, I have my own business, I don't need Baichuan's help. Grandfather Mo knocked his pipe on the coffee table, we are your parents, would we look down on you? Fearing that she had hurt Mo Qishan's pride, Grandmother Mo quickly started appeasing him, let's drop it, since the kid doesn't want Baichuan's help, let's not bother Baichuan. Chapter 750, Recognize Family. _3. Old Master Mo sighed. Dad, Mom, I'm going to rest upstairs first, continued Mo Chishan. Go ahead. Old Madam Mo nodded. Wait a sec. Old Master Mo spoke up again. Mo Chishan turned his head. What's up, Dad? Take this. Old Master Mo handed Mo Chishan something. Looking at it, Mo Chishan saw it as a bank card. Dad, I'm not strapped for cash now. Mo Chishan returned the card to Old Master Mo. As Old Master Mo kept a straight face, he said, if I want you to keep it, you keep it. You've been with Yang recently, don't scrimp when you're out. Spend when you should spend, don't worry, we've enough money at home. Dad, I'm really not short of money. Mo Chishan placed the card back on the coffee table and turned to head upstairs. Mo Chishan didn't have a job, nor did he have any savings, so, how could it be possible that he wasn't short of money? Old Master Mo picked up the card intending to follow Mo Chishan, but he caught sight of Xiao Yingying in the corner of the living room, drinking water from a cup shed filled at the water cooler. Xiao Yingying had moved into the Mo family home about 4 months ago, and had never left. Seeing Xiao Yingying, Old Master Mo had a pretty good idea of what was happening. Mo Chishan was probably afraid of being ridiculed by Xiao Yingying, and was trying to hold on his last bit of dignity. The kid really had a rough. It was his oversight. Old Master Mo sighed, holding the bank card, he slumped back onto the sofa. Xiao Yingying, over here, had a look of disdain on her face. How old was Mo Chishan? And he actually had the nerve to ask his family for money. She wasn't fooled by his claims of not being short of money or having his own business, she didn't believe a word of it. She was no longer the naive little girl she used to be. In fact, Mo Chishan's reason for doing this was simple. He wanted to attract her attention, he wanted her to fall in love with him. Wasn't this just typical of men? Even though they have a girlfriend, they still flirt around. Did they really think they could deceive her that easily? He was pathetic, thinking he could deceive her. In his dreams. Did he really think she was that naive individual businesswoman, Ni Yang? Did he think he could make her run around in circles like he did with Ni Yang? She was going to be the wife of Mr. Mog. The Mo family was a prestigious family, how did they end up with someone like Mo Chishan, a prodigal son? Such family misfortune. Xiao Yingying quickened her pace, walking ahead of Mo Chishan. She hoped that this could serve as a warning to Mo Chishan, that she had heard every word he had just said. Mo Chishan should not harbor any illusions about deceiving her. Xiao Yingying didn't even bother to take a second look at Mo Chishan, she walked past him haughtily. Zheng Lingling didn't get back home until 2 in the morning and Sun Wu was still waiting for her. Why are you still up? Zheng Lingling was somewhat surprised. Am I not waiting for you, said Sun Wu. Oh yes, how is your investigation going? With such a big thing happening, how could he fall asleep? Zheng Lingling took off her coat. I've found out everything. Sun Wu impatiently asked, so, what's the real story of your little sister? Zheng Lingling laughed, she's just a country girl named Ni Tsuehua, even a divorcee. With 2 burdens at her side. A country girl? Hearing this, Sun Wu felt relieved. Countryside folks are naive and easy to deal with. In fact, upon learning that Ni Tsuehua was a country girl, Zheng Lingling also breathed a sigh of relief. Moreover, when Ni Tsuehua was in the country, she was married at 16 and knew not a word. She's illiterate, she scoffed, an illiterate girl isn't worthy of setting foot in the Zheng's house. Just wait and see. At the family reuniting ceremony, who knows what antics that country bumpkin will pull. Zheng Lingling squinted her eyes, it'll show that old hag exactly who is suitable to be her real daughter. What do you plan to do? Asked Sun Wu. Zheng Lingling grinned, making a big, illiterate country girl embarrass herself is just the easiest thing in the world. Sun Wu nodded, you're right. In the blink of an eye, 3 days passed. These days, Old Master and Old Madam Zheng had been hard at work preparing for the family reuniting ceremony. Old Master Zheng had written numerous invitations, inviting all the relatives that had any connection with the Zhengs. Not only that, Old Master and Old Madam Zheng had also booked over 600 tables in Beijing's top 3 hotels, enough for everyone. The Zheng's house was festively decorated and filled with joy. Watching all of these, Zheng Lingling was burning with jealousy inside. The love one gets for being a biological child is simply irreplaceable. Chapter 751, Recognize Family. _4. Even though Ni Tsuehua was just a country bumpkin who couldn't show her face in public, Venerable Mr. Zheng and Mrs. Zheng still liked her so much. Back in the day, when she and Sun Wu got married, the Zheng family didn't celebrate as grandly as they are now. It really is infuriating to compare oneself to others. Mom, do you think Grandma will really transfer half of our family's assets to her biological daughter? She overheard it clearly from outside the door. Split it in half? Zheng Lingling pulled the corners of her mouth. If you were her, would you split half of your assets with a stranger instead of leaving it all to your biological daughter? Mrs. Zheng's words were just for show. She had figured it out. There was not a single truth in this old hag's mouth. Shed claimed that she had given up, that she would not search for her biological daughter any longer, yet the moment she turned her back, she had found her biological daughter. Now they had even arranged a family reunion. Hearing this, Zheng Xianxia shook her head. No. She added, but we've been so good to her. That biological daughter of hers has been missing for who knows how many years, hasn't done anything, and you've been so devoted to our grandparents. How dare she come in and try to take our things? Because that country bumpkin is her own daughter, replied Zheng Lingling. I wonder if, after today's public humiliation, Mrs. Zheng will still like her biological daughter as much as before. Thinking of this, a glimmer of satisfaction crossed the depths of Zheng Lingling's eyes. Today was the family reunion, and guests began to arrive one after another at the Zheng residence. Everyone was looking forward to seeing the Zheng family's long-lost daughter, missing for 35 years, for the first time. Zheng Lingling and her daughter Zheng Xianxia stood at the entrance, warmly welcoming the guests. The more elegantly and graciously they behaved, the cruder and more vulgar Ni Tsuehua, the country bumpkin, would seem in contrast. Ni Tsuehua, herself a country farmer's wife, undoubtedly had 2 country bumpkin daughters. How could these 2 country bumpkin girls compare with Zheng Xianxia, who had been nurtured by wealth since childhood? Zheng Xianxia was a distinguished phoenix. They couldn't even match up to little sparrows. Lingling. Just then, a familiar voice sounded through the air. Zheng Lingling looked up and saw that it was the venerable Mr. and Mrs. Mo, Aunt Mo. Zheng Lingling greeted politely, just realizing that Mo Qishan had also come. What was Mo Qishan doing here? The Mo family wasn't aiming for Zheng Xianxia, right? Mo Qishan was 29 this year, a suitable age for marriage. However, the Mo family should understand even if they considered it with their toenails that Mo Qishan is not good enough for Zheng Xianxia. Mo Qishan doesn't even deserve to carry Zheng Xianxing's shoes. A toad lusting after swan meat. Distaste flickered in Zheng Lingling's eyes, as she smiled and ushered the Mo family into the house. Aunt Mo, Uncle Mo, please come in. Mrs. Mo said with a smile, Lingling, you'll have to stop calling me Aunt Mo soon. Why? Zheng Lingling asked. Mrs. Mo replied with a smile, because of difference in familial seniority. Technically, we're of the same generation. Your mother even outranks me. After all, her son was going to marry the granddaughter of Mrs. Zheng. The remark made Zheng Lingling feel a sudden jolt in her heart. Damn it! Could it be that the 2 old folks had already agreed to Mo Qishan's proposal for Zheng Xianxia? What's the meaning of this? Does this mean that since Zheng Xianjing isn't their biological granddaughter, she should be married to a wastrel? Why should it be so? How dare Mrs. Zheng bypass her and make this decision on behalf of Zheng Xianjing? She wouldn't accept it no matter what. Zheng Lingling's features almost contorted, her smiling expression gradually faded, she didn't even want to bother with Mrs. Mo anymore. Noticing a shift in Zheng Lingling's demeanor, Mrs. Mo frowned slightly. Zheng Lingling always seemed pleasant in her memories. But today, Zheng Lingling came across as something of an ingrate. It was a great difficulty for Mrs. Zheng to find her biological daughter. Why was Zheng Lingling being such a sour face about it? Even if she was unhappy, she shouldn't show it. The venerable Mr. and Mrs. Zheng soon emerged to welcome the guests, Erwin. People certainly look fresher when they have good news. That day, the venerable Mr. and Mrs. Zheng were full of vigor, looking almost a decade younger. "Ching, congratulations," Mrs. Mo said smiling. "Thank you." Mrs. Zheng beamed. Mrs. Mo then asked, "By the way, where's Tingting?" Chapter 752, Recognize Family. _5. They haven't arrived yet. You all can come in first. Mrs. Zheng continued, Zheng Jun and I have consulted with someone to calculate the timing. They should be here promptly at 10:30 in the morning, which is just half an hour from now. Mrs. Mo teased, Ching, didn't you used to hate feudal superstitions? When did you start believing in this? When a person is alone, they can fear nothing and believe in nothing, utterly unrestrained. However, as soon as one has attachments, the fear starts creeping in. You love to tease people. Mrs. Zheng laughed. Mrs. Mo looked at Mrs. Zheng and sighed, Ching, it has been over 30 years since I last saw you laugh so freely. The smile remained on Mrs. Zheng's face. Isn't that the truth? In the blink of an eye, over 30 years have passed. Mrs. Mo looked at Mr. Zheng, feigning surprise. Zheng Jun, how have you managed to make time to come out of your mini skyscraper today? Aren't you tending to your beloved plants? Mr. Zheng chuckled awkwardly. The group of them, laughing and chatting, entered the house. Zheng Lingling, standing outside the door, felt the anger pressing down in her heart. She couldn't muster a smile for anyone she met. Lingling, what's the matter with you? This is a day of joy, why are you wearing such a serious expression? A reproachful voice filled the air. Aunt Jiang. Seeing Dr. Jiang, the anger on Zheng Lingling's face lessened slightly. She pushed Zheng Xianjing, standing beside her. Xianjing, didn't you see your Jiang grandma has arrived? Hello, Grandma Jiang. Zheng Xianjing responded casually. Dr. Jiang's face was filled with affection. Good girl. Dr. Jiang said earnestly, Lingling, today is a joyful day for your family, what's with this long face you're pulling? If others who aren't aware of the situation see this, they might think you hate your soon-to-be sister. If your mother hears about this, what will she think? Problems can be sorted out after the reunion ceremony today. You're a good child, you can't embarrass your parents. These words from Dr. Jiang seemed to awaken Zheng Lingling, who promptly responded, Yes, Aunt Jiang, I understand. Having said that, a smile returned to her face. Dr. Jiang nodded in satisfaction, Lingling, as long as you understand. Has your sister arrived? Not yet. Zheng Lingling shook her head. Oh. Dr. Jiang glanced at the guests coming and going, then he'll go in first. Other than Zheng Lingling, Zheng Sheng and Zheng Gao, the two brothers, were also having trouble addressing their feelings about Zheng Tingting's return. With nobody to succeed Mr. Zheng, by default, the duo would inherit the family fortune. But now, Zheng Tingting has actually returned. Zheng Tingting is the one with the real Zheng family bloodline. From the moment the two brothers walked in the door with their families, their faces were long. Zheng Lingling enthusiastically welcomed them, Uncle 2, Aunt 2, Uncle 3, Aunt 3, please come inside. Ingyue, Ingmei, I barely recognized you two after such a long time. Truly, a girl can change a lot when she grows up, you're both more beautiful than ever. Zheng Ingyue and Zheng Ingmei are Zheng Sheng's second and third daughters, respectively. Zheng Gao only has one son, Zheng Mingming. Everyone loves flattery. Hearing it, Zheng Ingyue and Zheng Ingmei beamed, thank you for the compliment, cousin. But Zheng Sheng and Zheng Gao were unable to muster a smile. With solemn expressions they went into the house. Shortly after, smiles returned to their faces. Because they heard some news. This niece they've never met before is a country bumpkin, she can't even read. Even if Mrs. Zheng and Mr. Zheng were to hand her all their assets, she probably won't be able to hold on to them. When that time comes, the Zheng family fortune will naturally return to its rightful owners. Maybe this country girl will even embarrass herself later. Soon after, Mrs. Shengguan also arrived. Zheng Lingling only had information on Ni Tsuehua and had no knowledge of the connection between Ni Tsuehua and Shengguan Dehui. Seeing Mrs. Shengguan, a trace of surprise flashed in Zheng Lingling's eyes. The Shengguan family usually doesn't interact much with the Zheng family, how did Mrs. Shengguan also end up here? It appears that these two resilient old folks are really going to great lengths for their biological daughter. 15 minutes left till 10:30. Mr. and Mrs. Zheng, Mr. and Mrs. Mo, and Mrs. Shengguan all stood by the door. The servants were standing by with firecrackers and fireworks, ready to celebrate the special occasion. Chapter 753, Recognize Family. _6. Zheng Lingling, Sun Wu, and Zheng Xianjing stood next to Mrs. Zheng, all their eyes looking in the same direction not too far away. Zheng Xianjing couldn't wait to see those country bumpkins. She was even more hoping that these country bumpkins would make fools of themselves. Perhaps those country bumpkins would not even be able to speak standard Mandarin. Thinking about this, Zheng Xianjing's eyes were filled with disdain. At this moment, two black cars slowly appeared in everyone's sight. Mrs. Zheng tightly held Mr. Zheng's hand, excitedly said, "They're coming. They're coming." Bang bang bang. The sound of firecrackers and fireworks echoed in the air. The black cars stopped one after another. The servants immediately ran over to open the car doors. A couple came out of the first car. The woman had an exquisite appearance, making it difficult to tell her real age. The man next to her was tall, wearing glasses, emitting a scholarly fragrance, and holding a child about 2 to 3 years old in his arms. This couple is Shengguan Dehui. This was Shengguan Dehui, but who was the woman standing next to him? This was clearly the Zheng family's reunion event. What was Shengguan Dehui doing here? For a moment, Zheng Lingling was a bit taken aback. The second car brought out 2 men and 2 women, among them 3 were young people, and a middle-aged woman, who looked to be in her 40s or 50s. Zheng Xianjing recognized 2 of them as Shengguan Su and Shengguan Shi. The person in the middle with outstanding looks and cool temperament was unmistakably Ni Yang. Ni Yang? Why was she here too? She didn't recognize the middle-aged woman. Each one of these people was extraordinary, not one resembled the rural folks she had imagined in her mind. What on earth was happening? By the time the mother and daughter could react, Mr. and Mrs. Zheng were already introducing them to everyone. Lingling, Sun Wu, this is your sister Tingting, this is your brother-in-law, Shengguan Dehui, and this is Tingting's sworn sister, Chengue. You must thank Chengue who has taken care of your sister over these past 2 years in Beijing. Initially, Ni Chengue didn't plan on coming, but Ni Tsuehua insisted that she should. Ni Tsuehua is not an ungrateful person. Since she decided to treat Ni Chengue as her sister, she would treat her as sister for the rest of her life. Hearing this, Zheng Lingling was stunned. Zheng Lingling had expected to see a coarse and ugly rural woman, but reality had given her a hard slap on the face. The country bumpkin in her eyes turned out to be Shengguan Dihui's wife. And she was so beautiful. Sister Tingting, brother-in-law, and Sister Chengue, nice to meet you. Zheng Lingling tried to calm down and greeted them with a smile. Ni Tsuhua said with a smile, Sister Lingling, thank you and brother-in-law for taking care of Mom all these years. You have worked hard. Taking care of Mom is my responsibility, Sister Tingting, you're too polite. Is this Ni Tsuehua already itching to assert her authority? At that moment, Zheng Lingling narrowed her eyes, as if she had suddenly remembered something. That's right. She seemed to have seen Ni Tsuehua before. It was 2 years ago during the New Year. The memories in Zheng Lingling's mind became clearer and clearer. No wonder when she first laid eyes on Ni Tsuehua and her daughter, she had a vague sense of impending crisis. 2 years ago, when Ni Tsuehua had just arrived in Beijing, she exuded a certain shabbiness that betrayed her humble origins. That must have been why Zheng Lingling didn't give her any importance. Unexpectedly, in the span of 2 years, there had been such a tremendous change in Ni Tsuehua. If she had known, she wouldn't have allowed Ni Tsuehua the chance to stay in Beijing. She was full of regret. Zheng Lingling looked at the radiant Ni Tsuehua, her regret so deep it was as if her intestines were turning green. Ni Chengue watched Zheng Lingling, his brows furrowed subtly. Zheng Lingling seemed enthusiastic, but her words were far from cordial. It appeared he needed to warn Ni Tsuehua. Madame Zheng then introduced Zheng Xianjing to everyone. Xianjing, this is your oldest cousin, Xiaoxiu, this is your cousin Xiaoxi, this is your second cousin Yang, and this little one in my arms is your youngest cousin Yunyun. Zheng Xianjing never expected that Ni Yang would turn out to be her cousin. Even more surprising was the fact that Ni Yang's mother was Madame Zheng's long-lost daughter. What right did a small-time trader like Ni Yang have to be her cousin? Zheng Xianjing was extremely uncomfortable, but she still put on a polite smile and greeted everyone, cousin, cousin, second cousin, little cousin. Ni Yang, who had previously engaged with Zheng Xianjing a few times, knew that Zheng Xianjing wasn't as gentle and kind as she appeared, smiling said, cousin, we meet again. Shengguan, she exclaimed in surprise, Yang, you've met Xianjing before? Ni Yang nodded, a few times. Shengguan, she replied, that really is fate. Ni Yang's mouth teased into a modest smile, indeed, it is fate. Zheng Xianjing clenched her hands tightly hidden inside her sleeves. Was Ni Yang deliberately provoking her? Just then, Madame Zheng led Mo Qishan over. Look at my forgetful brain, there's one more person I need to introduce. Lingling, this is Yang's boyfriend. Mo Qishan stood next to Ni Yang, politely greeting everyone. Initially, he and Zheng Lingling were of the same generation, but now he was a generation lower and had to call Zheng Lingling auntie. Upon hearing this, half of the anger that Zheng Lingling had suppressed in her heart instantly vanished. So this useless Mo Qishan was Ni Yang's boyfriend. A broken donkey covered in a straw mat also needs a good saddle, it seems. Hearing this, scorn flashed in Zheng Xianjing's eyes. So what if Ni Yang was beautiful? In the end, Shed still ended up with that useless Mo Qishan. The group then entered the hall. The Zheng family's relatives all gathered around. They were all extremely curious about what Madame Zheng's daughter, who had been missing for over 30 years, looked like. They were especially intrigued upon hearing that Zheng Tingting had grown up in the countryside and was illiterate. Yet, the family before them didn't look like they were from the countryside at all. Ni Yang followed behind Madame Zheng, quickly recognizing all her great-aunts and uncles. When everyone learned that Mo Qishan was Ni Yang's boyfriend, they had complicated expressions in their eyes. But Ni Yang didn't mind at all, and neither did Mo Qishan. Mom, what are we going to do now? Zheng Xianjing went to Zheng Lingling's side and asked in a low voice. They were originally waiting to see Ni Tsuehua make a fool of herself in front of everyone. But Ni Qihua's elegance, poise, and outstanding demeanor made it impossible for them to find fault with her. Zheng Lingling patted Zheng Xianjing's hand and reassured her in a whisper, even if a bumpkin is wrapped in a bowtie skin, no matter how well she behaves, she is still an illiterate bumpkin inside. Don't worry, the good show is yet to begin. Ni Tsuihua had grown up in the countryside and only married Shengguan Dehui 3 months ago. Asking Ni Tsuihua to perform the opening dance was Zheng Lingling's devious plan to make her look foolish. As an uncultured country woman with no place in high society, Ni Tsuihua would surely make a spectacle of herself on the dance floor. Since sister is so kind, we won't refuse. Shengguan Dehui led Ni Tsuihua to the center of the dance floor. As the music played, they began to dance. Not only could Ni Tsuihua dance, but also she danced very elegantly. One after another, applause echoed around them. Thunderous. Watching Ni Tsuihua in disbelief, Zheng Lingling's face twisted almost beyond recognition. She could actually dance. A country woman could actually dance. Yang, shall we dance too? Mo Qishan extended his hand towards Ni Yang. Sure. Ni Yang took off her coat and placed her hand in Mo Qishan's. With beautiful, elegant dancing steps, the graceful waist of hers seemed to be made of willow, boneless and delicate. Such a dance performance, even professional dancers couldn't compare. This beautiful dance, contrasted with the Cheongsam, was unique throughout the city. That woman in the Cheongsam is old Mrs. Zheng's biological granddaughter, right? Yes, it's her. Oh my gosh, she is amazing. She's way prettier than Zheng Xianjing. Listening to these words, Zheng Xianjing squeezed her fists and trembled in rage. Why Ni Yang? Why could she take away all her glory? Mother, didn't you say we could watch them make a fool of themselves? Zheng Xianjing approached Zheng Lingling, grinding her teeth as she spoke. Zheng Lingling was also extremely upset, her face alternating between green and white. How was she to know that Ni Tsuihua could actually dance? Could it be taught by Shengguan Dehui? Did she just lose what she tried to steal? Chapter 755, Self-inflicted_2. Zheng Lingling could not help but despise herself for letting Ni Tsuihua open the dance floor. Mom, what should we do now? Zheng Xianjing then asked. With such a grand kinship identification party held today, where could their family of 3 ever stand in the future? Don't act rashly, just watch for changes. Zheng Lingling suppressed the anger in her heart. Having struggled for so many years in the upper class, Zheng Lingling certainly knew that she couldn't be too impulsive at such a time. Sometimes being too impulsive could not only fail to achieve one's goal, but also bring trouble to oneself. Zheng Xianjing bit her lip. Are we just going to let them take center stage? She simply found it unbearable. Usually, when the Zheng family hosted banquets, many eligible bachelors would invite her to dance and then take the opportunity to strike up a conversation. But today, not a single person came over to invite her to dance. Not to mention striking up a conversation. With Ni Yang, the legitimate granddaughter of the Zheng family present, what did she, the daughter of an adopted daughter, amount to? Zheng Xianjing grew increasingly indignant. She wanted to smash the wine glass she was holding. At this moment, Ni Yang passed by her. The person accompanying Ni Yang was a well-known socialite from Beijing. Back when she was the only granddaughter of the Zheng family, at every Zheng family banquet, this woman would hover after her. But in the blink of an eye, her object of flattery had turned into Ni Yang. Zheng Xianjing, glancing at the blooming smile on Ni Yang's face, squinted. Ni Yang was wearing a cheongsam and a pair of silver-white high heels. If she fell by accident, her position would definitely be very ungraceful. Zheng Xianjing cornered her lips, holding her wine glass, and quietly stretched out her right foot. Ni Yang seemed not to see Zheng Xianjing's small action, her eyebrows and eyes as usual. While talking to the socialite next to her, she kept walking forward. At this moment, thud. Zheng Xianjing stumbled and fell flat on the ground, her red wine spilling all over the floor. The previously lively banquet hall quieted down. Everyone's eyes were looking in this direction. A banquet was a solemn occasion. Everyone's every word and action were extremely careful. They cared greatly about their image. There was never someone like Zheng Xianjing, who couldn't even walk properly. Who is that person who fell? Today there are those who are pleased and those who are downtrodden. She is the daughter of the Zheng family's adopted daughter. In public, really quite embarrassing. Understand, her heart must be unpleasant right now. It's normal for her to lose her cool. Alas, there really is a difference between one's own and not one's own. The voices of the crowd drilled into Zheng Xianjing's ears incessantly. She lay on the ground, her hands tightly gripping the carpet, her knuckles already turning slightly white. Clearly, the one who should be embarrassed was Ni Yang, so why had she become the one lying on the ground? Just then, a fair and graceful hand stretched out in front of Zheng Xianjing. The nails were neatly trimmed, translucent with a faint hint of pink. They looked very nice. Sister Xianjing, how could you be so careless? Get up quickly. Zheng Xianjing looked up and caught sight of a face as white as jade. It was Ni Yang. The person who had just made her stumble and made a fool of herself was surely Ni Yang. Ni Yang, this little bitch. What was she doing now? Was she demonstrating her power to her? Zheng Xianjing's face turned whiter and whiter as she stared at Ni Yang. Sister Xianjing, what's wrong? Are you not feeling well? A faint smile spread across Ni Yang's face, her eyes shimmering with concern. This stirred up a lot of speculation among the people around them. Zheng's grandmother's attention was quickly drawn to the anomaly here. At this moment, Zheng Xianjing had no choice but to swallow her pride. She handed her hand to Ni Yang. Thank you for your concern, little sister. I'm fine. That's good. Ni Yang helped Zheng Xianjing up, her tone indifferent. Sister Xianjing, be careful when you walk in the future. You were lucky today. If one day you happen to fall onto a chair or wall, you might not be so fortunate. That last line was both a hit and a warning. After finishing speaking, Ni Yang turned around and left. Zheng Xianjing looked up at Ni Yang's retreating figure. She knew that all of this was surely Ni Yang's doing. It was Ni Yang who made her look bad. Xianjing, what was that all about just now? Zheng Lingling walked over from the other side, her eyebrows and eyes filled with reproach. At such an important occasion, how could you lose your poise like that? She had originally arranged for Zheng Xianjing to shine today. The old madam wanted them to stay for a while. She had been separated from Ni Tsuehua and her daughter for so many years, and now that they had finally recognized each other, it was of course time to reconnect. The old madam asked a servant to bring Zheng Suyu down from upstairs. Ting, this is your Aunt Suyu. The old madam pulled on Zheng Suyu's hand, tears in her eyes. Suyu, Ting has come back. Zheng Suyu laughed. Ting. What's up with Aunt? Seeing that Zheng Suyu's expression was a bit off, Ni Tsuehua turned her head to look at the old madam. The old madam sighed. Your aunt received a shock many years ago, and her mental state hasn't been clear ever since. Ni Tsuehua nodded. Shengguan Dehui looked at Zheng Suyu, his eyes full of disbelief. Years ago, when he was still a child, he had seen Zheng Suyu a few times. At that time, Zheng Suyu was young and promising, a famous talent. She was always surrounded by a group of scholars, she was really high profile and was a legend in their circle. Who would have thought that things change over time? The talented woman of decades ago had now become like this. Now, Zheng Suyu was disheveled, skinny, and had a vacant look in her eyes, her past glory nowhere to be seen. If not for seeing it with his own eyes, who would believe that this woman was once the highly talented figure of the past? Who knows what Zheng Suyu had really been through? Shangguan Dihui's eyes were full of pity. The old madam said again, Yang, Xiaoxi, Xiaoxiu, come over here and say hello to your great-aunt. At her words, Yang, Shangguan Shi, and Shangguan Su came over. The three of them politely greeted their great-aunt. Zheng Suyu began spinning excitedly, ha! I'm a great-aunt. I'm a great-aunt. The great-aunt is here. Suddenly, her face turned pale, as if she had seen something terrifying. She screamed in horror, ah! A ghost! A ghost is coming to kill me. Please, don't kill me. Let me go. Chapter 757, Self-inflicted_4. Ah! Let go of me. Let me go. Zheng Suyu started running around the living room, as if something was really chasing her from behind. The furnishings in the room were knocked about by her, falling to the ground with a clatter. It was Shangguan Zai's first time encountering such a patient, and she was so scared that she hid behind Shangguan Su. Zheng Suyu in this state was indeed somewhat frightening. Little Yun stopped playing with his toys and ran to Shangguan Dihui, asking him for a hug. Old Mrs. Zheng hurriedly said to a servant, Mama Wu, quickly bring Suyu's sedative, we don't want her to scare the children. Zheng Suyu's condition would fluctuate, sometimes failing to recognize even her own family during her fits, at times even resorting to violence. This was also why old Mrs. Zheng did not let her attend the banquet today. Mama Wu quickly went upstairs to get the medicine. Zheng Xianjing leaned against the railing on the third floor, watching the scene unfold below with a look of anticipation and excitement. Let the chaos ensue. I hope Zheng Suyu will lose her mind and kill everyone downstairs. Just then, Yang looked up and suddenly made eye contact with Zheng Xianjing upstairs. Their eyes met, hers were bright, yet wild. Zheng Xianjing felt inexplicably flustered and hastily looked away. Yang narrowed her eyes slightly, a thought flickering in the depths. Zheng Xianjing. What was she panicking about? Just then, a pair of hands tightly clamped onto Yang's shoulders, violently shaking her. You're a ghost. You're a ghost. I'm going to kill you. Everyone in the room was startled by Zheng Suyu's action. However, looking at Yang, there was no trace of panic in her face. She grabbed Zheng Suyu's wrist with one hand, and with the other took a golden needle from her acupuncture bag and gently pricked Zheng Suyu's Laogong acupoint. Madam, please calm down. The next second, Zheng Suyu indeed quieted down. Yang sat Zheng Suyu down on the sofa and asked, Granny Zheng's illness is acquired, right? Right. Old Mrs. Zheng nodded. Old Master Zheng suddenly thought of Yang's impressive medical skills and asked, Yang, do you believe you can help Granny Zheng regain her sanity? Yang shook her head. In her previous life, she hadn't studied mental illnesses, but she knew for certain that her master would have a solution. Yang squinted, thinking about when she could visit her master. In this life, her senior brother had not met an ill fate, and her master and his wife must be living happily. Old Master Zheng then asked, so how did you calm Granny Zheng down? Just a moment ago, Zheng Suyu was terribly agitated, and the next she quieted down. Even with regular medicine, the effect wouldn't be so immediate. Yang held up Zheng Suyu's right hand. This is the Laogong acupoint. Inserting a golden needle into this point has a calming effect. Since ancient times, the Laogong acupoint has been known to medical experts as a crucial point for treating mental and heart diseases. Acupuncture on it could alleviate conditions such as depression, irritability, and nervous breakdowns. The hope in old Master Zheng's eyes dimmed. So that's how it is. Ni Yang added, Grandpa, don't worry. Since Granny Zheng's disease is acquired, there must surely be a cure. Old Master Zheng nodded. Just then, Zheng Lingling came down from upstairs, laughing as she said, Children, I have prepared your rooms, come with me. Shengguan Shi and Shengguan Su did not originally intend to stay at the Zheng family's house. But today was the first day that Ni Tsuehua had returned to her ancestry. If they didn't stay over even for a night, it might invite unnecessary gossip from outsiders, so they decided to stay. Thank you, Auntie, Ni Yang politely thanked them. The three of them followed Zheng Lingling upstairs. The room of Ni Tsuehua was personally prepared by old Mrs. Zheng at the top floor where the lighting was the best. The room was always reserved for Ni Tsuehua. In the evening, Ni Yang lay in bed, unable to sleep despite tossing and turning. Seemingly peaceful on the surface, the Zheng family concealed a crisis within. For example, the illness of old Master and old Mrs. Zheng. Why were they chronically ill? Why were toxins present in their bodies? Also, Zheng Suyu, what led to Suyu's madness? Was there something hidden beneath all this? With all these thoughts and the unfamiliarity of the bed, she ended up spending the whole night without sleep. Early the next morning, Ni Yang got out of bed. Although she had not slept well all night, her face did not show the slightest sign of fatigue. Chapter 758, Self-Inflicted _5. Wearing a simple cheongsam paired with an overcoat, her hair cascaded down her back, with a clip of the same color as the cheongsam holding back a strand at her ear. She was a sight to behold. Yang is up, Zheng Lingling, who was preparing breakfast, warmly greeted Ni Yen as she came in. She showed no traces of dislike for Ni Yang, her eyebow were brimming with affection. Ni Yang greeted her cheerfully, Good morning, Auntie. Good morning, Zheng Lingling chuckled, not only are you a beauty, but your words are also as sweet as honey. Unlike our Xianjing, who's a bit aloof. She's not particularly good-looking and isn't quite the charmer either. Her introverted demeanor is really baffling. With her silver tongue, Zheng Lingling could make the dead come alive and make the living dance to her tunes, leaving them utterly confused. If the person in front of her wasn't Ni Yang, they would have surely dropped all their defenses. Ni Yang lightly hooked the corner of her mouth, her dimples barely visible. Auntie, you're being too modest about Sister Xianjing. She's quite an incredible person as well. Zheng Lingling narrowed her eyes. Ni Yang was indeed no easy target. Ordinary teenagers hearing such pleasant words would have been completely disoriented. But not Ni Yang, she managed just fine. Soon, Shengguan Su and Shengguan Shi got up as well. From Shengguan Zu's perspective, he could see Ni Yang's profile. Sitting at the dining table, she wasn't adopting the poised posture that most young ladies from big families did. Instead, she sat with her left leg crossed over her right, exuding casual confidence. Her cheongsam had been amended, with a slit that wasn't too high, revealing a graceful calf that was dazzlingly white. Looking up, there was her uniquely delicate face. The shadows cast by her curled eyelashes on her nose bridge were fan-like. Her lips were red, echoing the clip by her ear. Such a person would attract attention wherever she went. Yang, why did you get up so early? Shengguan Shi skipped over and sat next to Ni Yen. Shengguan Su looked away distastefully. Ni Yang laughed, It's not that early, you two are up too, aren't you? Shengguan Shi giggled, Well, we have work, but you don't. As she spoke, she noticed Zheng Lingling emerging from the kitchen and quickly greeted her, Good morning, Auntie. Zheng Lingling smiled, Oh, Xiaoxi and Xiaoxiu, you're both up. How did you sleep last night? Shengguan Shi replied, Thank you for your concern, Auntie, we slept really well. Soon, the elders Zheng and his wife, Ni Tsuehua, and Shengguan Dehui joined them for breakfast. It was a full house at the Zheng family's dining table. It was the first time that the dining room was filled with so many people. Chapter 759, Self-Inflicted_6. Zheng Xianjing took the bowl and chopsticks from the servant's hand. Let me feed Aunt Suyu. Zheng Suyu was restless while eating, often spraying food all over the person feeding her. In just a few minutes, Zheng Xianjing was sprayed twice. Fun. Fun. So much fun. Zheng Suyu clapped her hands joyfully. Zheng Xianjing didn't get angry, she calmly wiped the leftovers off her face with a handkerchief, her lips still held a smile, and she kindly said, Aunt Suyu, you mustn't be naughty, we have to eat properly. Who else could tolerate such behavior from Zheng Suyu? Seeing Zheng Xianjing being so understanding, both the Zheng family's patriarch and matriarch were very reassured. Zheng Lingling unintentionally exchanged glances with Zheng Xianjing, and both saw the satisfaction in the other's eyes. Ni Yang took a sip of milk, her gaze sweeping over everyone unnoticed. Is Zheng Xianjing really that kind? From what she knew of Zheng Xianjing, unless the sun rises from the west, Zheng Xianjing would certainly not be a person of goodwill. The Zheng family's water was too deep. She had to probe carefully to ensure that her grandparents could live their final years in peace. After breakfast was over, everyone began to go about their business. Shangguan Su and Shangguan Shi went to work. Before they left they informed the matriarch that they would not be coming the next evening. Firstly, because it was inconvenient due to work, and secondly, there was a generational gap between them and the matriarch. Moreover, their paternal grandmother was still alive. How would it look if they always stayed at the Zheng family's house? Ni Yang left the house with Shangguan Su and Shangguan Shi. Shangguan Su asked, Yang, where are you going? I can drive you there. Ni Yang replied, no need, I will ride my bike. I have several places to go this afternoon, it would be inconvenient if you were to drive me. All right then, just be careful on the way. Shangguan Su instructed her. Okay. Ni Yang nodded. At that moment, the matriarch came out from inside. Yang, where are you going? Our family might lack other things, but we have plenty of cars. I can assign a driver to you and have them take you there. Upon hearing this, Zheng Lingling's face was full of disbelief. What? This old hag actually wanted to assign a driver to Ni Yang? She had served this old hag in the Zheng family for so many years, and the old hag had never thought of assigning a driver to Zheng Xianjing. What did she mean by this now? Was she deliberately trying to embarrass her? Anger was seething up inside Zheng Lingling, but she could not vent it out. Ni Yang smiled and said, no need grandma, I prefer to ride my bike. She preferred bicycles over cars. Ni Yang was someone who was immensely nostalgic. Many who had difficulty getting a good meal or were financially strained, would come to eat at this buffet. Not only could they eat their fill, but they could also take some home. The banquet was rumored to have been sponsored by a wealthy family celebrating the return of their long-lost daughter. This indeed was a good deed. Besides this mother and daughter, many others came from afar, making the hotel lobby extremely crowded. Meanwhile in the car, a man who had been calmly reading the newspaper suddenly put it down and looked back. However, due to the high speed of the car, he could no longer see the road behind clearly. Mr. Du, what are you looking at? Wang Ziki, the driver, looked back and asked. Nothing. Mr. Du picked up the newspaper again, asking, how is the investigation going? Wang Ziki, of course, knew what Mr. Du was referring to, and replied, we have some leads now. Mr. Du's expression changed. When can we get a definitive answer? He never cared about the process in his work, only the results. We need to confirm a few more things. Wang Ziki responded. Wang Ziki knew Mr. Du well. If he didn't have any leads by now, Mr. Du would not be sitting back and reading the paper so tranquilly. Mr. Du nodded. All right, I'm waiting for the results. Wang Ziki continued, the fourth lady called yesterday. Mr. Du remained silent. Observing Mr. Du's expression, Wang Ziki added, after you cut off all her funding, she's been living poorly. Often going meal to meal, she brought it upon herself. You don't need to sympathize with people like her. Mr. Du spoke indifferently, clearly unaffected by whatever plight the fourth lady found herself in. Chapter 760, The Secret of Ginseng Soup _1/4 Miss is a typical internet critic, enjoying the money of Master Du on the one hand, while on the other hand, she curses him as the most evil capitalist, wanting to overthrow the Master Du, acting recklessly. Now that Master Du has cut off all her sources of income, she certainly deserves it. After thinking about it, Wang Ziki continued, so we just let fourth miss go like this? Master Du used to spoil fourth miss, or else he wouldn't have indulged her for such a long time. After a while, Master Du's voice echoed in the air, she wanted freedom, didn't she? Then I'll give her freedom. Wang Ziki was taken aback. Was Master Du completely giving up on fourth miss? Master Du continued, from now on, if she calls, you don't need to answer. All right. Wang Ziki nodded agreement. Today is the opening day of Beijing's 15th fair-skinned beauty store. With great discounts and unlimited purchases of limited products today, as soon as the store opens, it is filled with people. The 5 employees simply couldn't keep up with the rush. Ni Yang put on her uniform and began working with the others. I want 10 sets of the Supreme Edition limited gift boxes. The Supreme Edition limited gift box costs 580 yuan each, but the rich people in Beijing can afford it. It was supremely difficult to get one of these limited edition gift boxes before, as this rare opportunity of unrestricted purchasing arose with the opening of the new store. Of course people wanted to buy more. Ni Yang smiled slightly, I'm sorry customer, but each person is limited to purchasing one Supreme Edition limited gift box. I thought it wasn't restricted today. The voice of the person sounded obviously unhappy. Ni Yang explained, no restriction means the total quantity is not restricted. As long as customers visit the store, everyone can purchase the limited products. On a normal day, these limited edition products are only limited to 60 sets per month. Many people came hoping to buy them, but left with disappointment. Oh, is that so? Can't I really buy 10 sets? Can't you make an exception for me, young lady? Ni Yang continued, I'm really sorry, these are the store's rules, I can't easily violate them. Your boss must be a fool then, doesn't even know when to make money. Give me one set. Alright, please wait a moment. Ni Yang took out a set of fair-skinned beauty and handed it to her. Limited sales in the mall is called hunger marketing. As the saying goes, rarity is the most precious thing. If fair-skinned beauty had always been available without limitation, its sales would definitely not be as good as they are now. And being a limited sale give people a high-end feeling. Zheng Xianjing is also a loyal fan of fair-skinned beauty. Your aunt is having an episode, currently she doesn't recognize anyone. Leave quickly before she hurts you. Aunt Lingling? Ni Yang was slightly taken aback. Let's go out quickly. Zheng Lingling grabbed hold of Ni Yang's wrist. Ni Yang silently shrugged off Zheng Lingling's hand and moved towards the bedroom. Zheng Lingling followed in Ni Yang's footsteps. Yang, be careful. If you end up getting hurt by your aunt, don't blame me for not warning you. Just then, a figure suddenly rushed out from the bedroom. I'll kill you. I want to kill you. Liars. You all are big liars. Ni Yang deftly avoided, extending her hand to hold Zheng Suyu's hand. Auntie, calm down a bit. Kill you. Kill you. There was no chance of Zheng Suyu calming down. Left with no choice, Ni Yang had to prick her needle at the Laogong acupoint once more. Only then Zheng Suyu quieted down. But even after she quieted down, Zheng Suyu was seemingly incapable of thinking, her pair of eyes dulled and lifeless. There's an injury on her forehead. What happened? Ni Yang asked. Zheng Lingling replied, when your aunt has an episode, she not only hits others but also hurts herself. It's not just her forehead, there are wounds at other places too. As she spoke, Zheng Lingling rolled up Zheng Suyu's sleeve, revealing that Zheng Suyu's arm was entirely covered in wounds. These were all done by your aunt herself. Just then, Zheng Suyu instantly retracted her hand and hugged Ni Yang tightly, crying, sister-in-law, it hurts. Suyu hurts so bad. There are ghosts want to harm Suyu. Ni Yang was stunned. Did Zheng Suyu mistake her for Mrs. Zheng? Auntie, don't cry, would you like me to treat your injuries?